You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens.
And we're back with a new episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. And this is not just any episode. This is the season 7 finale and the 200th episode of Ernestly Speaking, which I am so happy that we've arrived. I've been, going at this for 4 years. It has been officially 4 years. Around this time in 2020, I recorded what was the sneak peek new episode of Ernestly Speaking. Like I was just putting out a tester episode until we did full length at the start of January of 2021. So much has changed and so much has not changed since then. I think coming into that beginning, we was in the throes of the pandemic. Vaccinations had not been fully out yet. I think I got my first vaccination in January. It was January 2021. I think I was still engaged. I was not married yet. The wedding was in October 2021. The pandemic was very, very we was only 8 months in, 8 to 9 months into the pandemic. So there was just still a lot of question marks about when we was going to get out of it. Biden and Kamala had just won the White House. And so it was feeling a little optimistic. This was right before the insurrection on January 6th, because the new season, the first ever season of Ernestly Speaking on the podcast, came around that week when the insurrection took place. That's how we started the whole shebang. And so there was a lot that transpired during that time. And then here we are 4 years later. Trump done reclaimed the White House for a final time. We are seeing the passing of a legend, probably one of the better presidents, even though they're completely underrated, Jimmy Carter, a proud Libra, passed away at 100 years old. He said, "I'm not going to stay around for this." He only served one term. I think a lot of people realized how impactful he was after his presidency. That was right before the Reagan era had came in and changed the world. I didn't live through, I wasn't even born during the entire Reagan era. I was born in 91, so I had the remainings of Herbert Walker Bush and the Clinton era, really. I pretty much was born into the Clinton era of politics and all the way down. I don't have much of a recollection at all of the first Bush. He was a one-term himself, but the Reagan era, I breezed right through all of that. I wasn't even conceived then, but I heard it was quite some time. I heard it was quite an era for sure. The lingering impacts of that era still holds us to this day. But he won a Nobel Peace Prize. Jimmy Carter did. He wanted to live long enough to vote for Harris as president, which he was able to do. And then shortly after that, he went to a better place, definitely a better place. And so he will be missed. He will be missed. He was a very, he's an example of the presidency may not be your best days. For some people, the presidency will represent the highlight of their life, their career. After that, everything goes downhill. I mean, ask Bill Clinton. I think, he was a mess in his presidency too. But I mean, after his presidency, I think his popularity has definitely waned. I think people, many, many years later, people woke up and began to think about some of his policies, his stances. And I don't think he fared well after his presidency. I think his presidency was the height of his heights amid all the scandals. But that was it for him. With Jimmy Carter, it's interesting because I feel like reading on him and studying him, his presidency was just so chaotic in certain ways. And also in many ways, the world was not ready for his ideas. And, it just kind of just collapsed and conservative order just became the name of the game. Um, but he was able to live long enough to be able to make an impact and be influential in so many different avenues that, this man gets a Nobel Peace Prize after his presidency. A lot of presidents, not that many presidents, but there are many presidents that have gotten those type of honors while they were in the White House. I think of Obama. Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize during the first term of his presidency. But you don't see too many people getting those types of honors while they're, after the fact, after they're president, after they are the most powerful person in the free world. And so what Jimmy Carter, what I will remember him for is being able to prove that titles and positions can be the start of an opportunity, but does not be the conclusion of one. And so that's what I will forever remember about him. And even when I do the work that I do and all my leadership opportunities, I always remind myself that the story never ends until it ends. Like, he was in the headlines even at 100. He was still having an influence in politics and the way that we think about things up until the very end. He lived a very long life, longer than many presidents. Most presidents do not age well, do not still keep up with the times. He did to the very end. And so, rest in paradise. But looking back, 200 episodes, 200 full-length episodes, because some of you are probably looking at my iTunes and going, full length, you got 200 and something. No. The rest of those are bonus episodes. This is 200 full-length episodes. And that's important to note, because full-length episodes, are the ones that are over 2 hours long. Special edition episodes, I give y'all 45 minutes, an hour. Normally, we're on one specific topic and then we move on. But this was a full-length episode. So, I hope you all, 200. Some of y'all have been with me from the very beginning. So I know you all have heard my voice and have heard all of it. Okay, so much about me. It's crazy. But, 'tis life. And it's been quite the experience. It's been quite the journey. So I am so grateful for all of it. And as you can see, I got new season 8. Season 8 is beginning on Dr. Parks's birthday. My good friend Amanda, she's having a birthday. Her birthday is on January 13th. All of the Capricorns, January 13th will be the season 8 premiere of Ernestly Speaking. And that will be the 201st episode of Ernestly Speaking. 201st. So we are in depth. Because it's I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. But after this episode, I'm going to take a break, a cute little brief break. And then in 2 weeks, the new episode will be recorded. I always do this. I always take a beginning of the year break, just to recharge, reset, get ready for 2025, get ready for the new year, get all into that. And then I always take a mid-year break around July 4th. Like when we're in between seasons, I take one little week break off then so I can just, recharge, get my summer charged up and, give my vocals a little rest and then get back out there and then record. So it's been a nice flow. So it's always going to be 50 episodes a year. It's 52 weeks in a year, but 2 of those weeks are break weeks. And then, we get to it. So January 13th will be the season 8 premiere. But you'll see new designs, new looks. A lot of y'all been mentioning, you're gonna do some new cover art, baby, new backgrounds, new looks, new aesthetic. Not too much of a massive change, but as you can see, the graphics and everything, the look, I just felt like, hey, we've done 200 episodes and it's time for new looks. I look different. I took some new headshots. I want to incorporate them. I just want a new look. I want a new feel and everything. So you'll see the new podcast layout and aesthetic to represent a new season. 200 episodes in, 7 seasons down. We're about to head into 8. Everything just needs to upgrade. So that's my mood. That's my vibe right now. And I'm excited. It's been such a very long year, a year in review, a year in reflection. This episode, we're gonna do a year in review, like in everything. But before I get into all of that, want to let y'all know, how was my holidays? Because you all saw some videos and saw some pictures and was like, what's going on? So I cannot wait. So let's get into it. I was in Houston for the holidays. Mr. Johnson and I went through. We was there for a small period of time because I had a lot of stuff for the weekend, this past weekend, and I wanted to, hit my marks. And also, we normally, so on the end of it, the new rule for me for holidays travel is going to always be, I'm going to show up the eve before Christmas Eve, the eve of Christmas Eve, and the day after Christmas, because city council does this thing. City council does this thing where they stayed a week longer, which really changed my whole travel plans because they were supposed to be over on December 12th, but because of the arena, that moved everything to December 19th. Which also meant, Mr. Johnson, of course, my husband works for city council. So everything schedule-wise got pushed. So we had to leave on that Sunday, which was like the 22nd. So that was, the 22nd. We came in on the 22nd on that Sunday. And then, of course, we still had to leave on Friday morning on the 27th because, I had to go to Atlantic City for the weekend. So that made our trip a little bit shorter because of city council. So blame city council. No, I'm joking. But it was a nice amount of time. I mean, honestly, we did exactly what we planned to do, which was really much we rested, we chilled. It was not all the ripping and running that I do in Philly. I had all my holiday party runs. I had all of that going on before. But it was just nice to be home and be in some just chillness. Like I didn't dress up. I just was in sweatpants and big sweaters and was just relaxed and just, it was nice to be in Texas. Everything is slower and more calmer and more chill. So it was a good time. I mean, really I catched up on all of my eating. I went to Whataburger, Taco Cabana, Schlotzsky's, which is not in Philly, but they really should bring a Schlotzsky's in Philly. But you all like y'all hoagies, so I feel like another sandwich place would just ruin it. Oh yes, ribs. We had ribs. We had ribs the day after Christmas. Christmas feasting was everything. I mean, it just nothing beats a home cooked Christmas meal. The same standards, the same pies. It's just unbeatable. Christmas gifts were really good. I feel like the older I get, the better Christmas planning gets. Like it's more practical. That's how I feel about Christmas. It's like a very like my gifts as I get older are more practical gifts. So definitely got some clothes for my red carpet. I'm going to be hitting the red carpet a lot at the beginning of this year, a lot of traveling. So, more on that later in the podcast. But it was really nice to just really dress good. You know what I'm saying? Like to really put on some, to have some clothes that made sense. So, I recently got a new tuxedo. And of course, my mom gets me tuxedo shirts. Because you can never go wrong with tuxedo shirts. They're a specific type. And, I got the matching cufflinks and the whole little tuxedo, buttons and all the garments and everything. But, like, this is a thing. And so I was like, I need to get multiple tuxedo shirts, which I did. She got some from Karl Lagerfeld, which was really nice. And I got that. I got a whole new tuxedo blazer situation to complement my outfit, my collection. I'm trying to get mature things. Like I had a period, I think I talked about this a couple of episodes ago. I was talking about like, I went through a phase of renting some tuxedos, but now I'm like, you know what? I do this too much. I need to get one tailor made, custom made. And also because of my this past year, all of the losing, I lost a lot of weight. Shout out to intermittent fasting. I needed some new attire. I need some new things, new suits and everything. So that was really functional, right? Lots of new shoes. Can never go wrong with that. Mr. Johnson got me these really, really nice goat shoes that I already know where I'm going to wear them at already. I already see the vision. Everything I got, I saw the vision. Everything I got, I needed and I wanted. Of course, I re-upped on my cologne. Can never go wrong with some good cologne. And it was nice. What did I get Mr. Johnson for Christmas? Something very practical and functional that he wanted. Um, it's so funny when I was thinking about when I was recording this podcast, I was thinking about earlier, like 4 years ago. We did our wedding registry and people were sending us the gifts, but we were not opening anything yet because we wanted to wait until after the wedding. One of those gifts was an air fryer from, I think it was some Ninja. It was like a very nice custom, like very very basic, air fryer. And we never done air frying before until then. And so it was like a gift that I said, well, sure, let's put on the registry because we never had one. And so we got one as a gift. Now, most of our appliances that we got have really lasted all these 4 years. We never overused them. Like I got a Vitamix smoothie blender or whatever. We don't use it all the time, but when we do, it's incredible. But it's lasted. I mean, it's really nice. I mean, we don't do it every day or anything, but it just stands there and looks pretty. We got an in-house smoke-free, smokeless George Foreman grill. We don't use it all the time, and so it's lasted pretty well. It's up to shape. It's pretty much in good condition. Everything else, we got the mini fridge that is still mini fridging and still doing well. Wine cooler is still great. Like most of our appliances, we never really overused them or done much with them, except one. And that's Mr. Johnson and his air fryer. He has used that air fryer almost every day. Like if it's 365 days in a year, he's used it about 350 days to the point that he was feeling like earlier this year, he's like, you know what? Oh, we should get a new one. I feel like this one is just like, it's not enough. Like he's cooked so much. He does all his meal prep. He does everything with that damn thing. And so in my mind, every year I always I'm like, what can I get him that he won't necessarily get for himself or he will eventually get to it, or what can I do? So last year it was this really like super over the top espresso coffee maker. I don't drink coffee, but he's all into it. And I got him one of these big fancy coffee espresso makers, like something that he would want, but he would never like go out of his way to spend the money to buy himself, if that makes sense. Like there's some stuff like you're like, I need this, but you're going to take your time. You're going to either wait for a sale or you're just going to put up with it until you don't. Unless it fails and break, he will not get one until it completely collapses. And so I got him that for Christmas last year. And then this year I got him this brand new, well designed. It's this multiple, it's very spacious air fryer, got all these different compartments. I think it's like 5 tiers or some crap. Like it's really, really nice. I don't really know what to do with it. I don't use the air fryer. I don't even know how to use the air fryer. I think part of it is because all the restaurants that I go to, I always would either bring some leftovers or I will be full. I just never really needed an air fryer for myself, but I was looking up and doing my research and I found this one. I was like, yeah, I think this one is the one, because everyone was like, this is the one everybody apparently wants. There was a sale. I purchased this like during Memorial Day. And what I did is that I put it in storage. Like I buy gifts all throughout the year. That's like my Christmas shopping thing. I will see something and say, yep, this is for my friend. This is for, so and so. Like I will get gifts. I buy birthday gifts way in advance. I'm like that person. I never do the whole late Christmas shopping thing. I've never been a fan of that. I will always just see things and think of somebody and say, you know what, let me get it now. I'll find something at the store, something on Amazon, something that was on sale, and I would just purchase like that. And that's how I would get away with not having to overthink. So that's just the Libra in me. I'm a super planner. Like I'm just gonna be ahead of the curve. Like I got gifts, all of the gifts that I got my friends for their birthdays coming up. I got a lot of Capricorns in my life, a lot of birthdays. I've already bought their birthday gifts. I've been bought their birthday gifts. I already know what they're getting. Some of them, I already know what I'm getting them and all that. I was ahead of the curve. So I always tell people, have that keen sense of creativity and thought. Just putting it out there. So outside of that, he was very happy with his gift. He got me these really nice shoes, really, really nice shoes. And when you see them, you'll know when you see them, they're gold. And when you see pictures and somebody says those shoes, just know that's when Mr. Johnson got me. Because I don't really cook or anything. Like most of the stuff that I have in life that I want, I have. Or things that I want is not material. They're like goals and certain aspirations. And I feel like if you would have asked me this about 15 years ago, my answer would have been very different. I would be like, yes, I want this. It's very material. But I guess the older I get, the more it's like, I want experiences. I want achievements. I want time. I want very, very, intimate things. But it's nice to get some good shoes and some good blazers, some good dress. I still like my dress. I still like the things too. But I'm more into the experiences. I guess that's part of growing up. Speaking of experiences, so you all saw that my brother, the one who's about to get ready to go to Temple, and it's so funny because was it around this time? I think he was just getting ready. Yeah, he was in the college application process when this podcast had just started. He was just applying to schools. He had not gotten accepted to Temple. He got accepted to Temple in the spring of 2021, and then he started in the fall 2021. He had not even came to Temple yet. And look at him. He's grown up with you all. Now he's out the door. I think it was like 7. Yeah, he's 17 around this time. Wow. Time flies. Yeah. So he, I guess America's favorite little brother, but he, got tickets to see the Texans. He's a Texans fan. I don't understand. Well, I guess because he's from Houston. I mean, I suppose. But, you don't have to be. See, not that I'm like into football like that, clearly. And clearly my team isn't winning like they used to. But I grew up being a Cowboys fan by default because I grew up in Texas. I grew up in Houston. The Houston Texans always sucked. But the Cowboys were promising. Again, many, 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 many years ago. I'm not really like into the NFL, as you all know. But the Cowboys were the better team in Texas. Like, I feel like in Pennsylvania, listen, I'm not going to come for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got a thing. They won a championship, when I was in college. That was about, 2011? Around that time, was it black and yellow? That was that whole Wiz Khalifa. I remember when they won. You would have never heard the end of it when the Steelers won. Oh, my goodness. They had that little annoying, that song. That song was a hit. But oh my goodness, Black and Yellow, that was a song. It was overplayed, but it was a moment. They won, they did their big one. Eagles were not that good then. And of course, Eagles will later eventually win the Super Bowl and then go to Super Bowl several times after or a few times after. But it was an era. So I guess in Pennsylvania, if you're a Steelers fan, there's still, there's a reason to be a Steelers fan. You can't really, do that to them. And then of course, be Eagles fan. They're a good team too. But in Texas, if you're a, Houston Texans fan, that's a committed art. But he is a fan. So he got a Christmas gift. He got tickets to go see the Texans versus the Ravens. He got these tickets. These tickets, again, were purchased long before we found out that there was going to be a Beyonce Bowl. And the ticket holder, I think it was like season, he got the seats that was where the season ticket holders stand. And it was like, I want to say he was probably on the 5th row. He had some great ass seats. I told him, I said, let me tell you something. I know that you're here to support, these Texans. I had already told him in advance the Texans were going to lose, which they lost. I mean, it was horrible. Did y'all see that bloodbath? The Ravens were doing their thing, okay? Baltimore was Baltimoreing, okay? And Governor Westmore, America's favorite governor, my favorite governor right now. Westmore, he said it best. He said it best. He said the best performing Texan on that field was Beyonce. He wasn't lying. I mean, what do we have to say at this point? She is one of one. She's the only one. She's incredible. She's the best at what she do. The performance was everything. I told him, let me tell you something. You're going to record everything. He took pictures. He recorded everything. He recorded everything, and he was great. He did his big one. So that's how you all got to see all of those. That's how you got to see all of those really good live clips, because I did watch the Netflix. I did see it. Shout out to Netflix for not buffering. But the audio was very the audio was very like low. I felt like when I first saw it live. It felt like I couldn't hear the crowd. It was very pristine. But I was like, I need to hear the energy of that crowd, the liveness. So he definitely did his big one. He was recording every video. I got to hear and so I was uploading some of it so you all could see what We the People was not in Houston. That was not at that field got to see. Okay? And so the mic was definitely on. Okay? She did her big one. No question. And I just don't know why people just continue to question her dominance. At this point, it's just like guys, two things can be true at the same time. If you don't have to care much for her music. If you don't care much for her music, that's fine. Whatever. Taste is subjective. I get it. But you can't deny her craft, her talent, her ability. Like, she can sing. She has vocals. She is a great performer. She is, in my opinion, the greatest living performer that we have. I didn't say the greatest living musician. I believe that is Stevie Wonder. And she would agree too. But performer, she's got that. She is the greatest living performer. Greatest living musician, an emphasis on living. I would say for me, it's Stevie Wonder. He is still living, and he is a musician. He is a musician. He is the tree. He is the root of musicology. When I think of musicology, when I think of art, of the form of music, I think of Stevie Wonder. I mean, the talent, the vision, the consistency, the longevity. He is the Mount Rushmore of musicians, period. Like, Stevie Wonder is, that's my opinion. You know, you could debate your dog, but I will say he is the musician. Singer that's living, I'm going to give it to Mariah. Even though Celine is up there, Barbra Streisand is up there, but I'm going to give it to Mariah. Mariah has kept it going. I will say singer Mariah, living. Yeah, those are my ones. They say, who's Beyonce's peer? The only peer I would say that is in the conversation as a peer to her, not saying they're better, but they right next to each other as far as peer, is Usher. That's Beyonce's peer, and Usher's peer is Beyonce. Those two are peers. Everybody else, y'all playing second fiddle. Y'all playing second fiddle. That's just what it is. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules, but those are peers. They're peers. They're the ones. Those are the two. Okay? Because Usher can sing too, baby. And he can definitely dance. And he can definitely perform. And he's been doing it around the same time as Beyonce. So you can't even say one is inspired and copying. They came from a different class. A lot of people ask the question, will we ever get it? I think parenting in this new era will not allow us to have artists like that. And that's okay, because, the days of the Joe Jackson era of talent parent moms and parents, that era has faded. We don't really see too many, Hollywood parents or whatever anymore. Like his momager, Usher's momager, mom manager, the Kris Jenners. That's a fading art. We're not going to see too many of those in this current era. Thinking about them, who else am I thinking about? Matthew Knowles, Tina. Like, we're not going to see the Knowles type of. We're not going to see that anymore. I think that's a dying art. I think the stage mom, stage parent, stage dad. I think that is fading in entertainment. Or it's not going to be the same, because the new parents are going to be our generation. Is anybody in I don't even plan on having kids, but I couldn't imagine being that helicopter parent or being that invested in my kid's career like that. Like, I would be more free falling, I would imagine. There are good things to it. You get to be that type of artist, but then the side effects is, life balance, is that even what we want to aspire to? I mean, we love the talent, but there's prices that they have to pay. To be in the spotlight like that. It's no easy feat, So I to some extent, We love what we see, but there's always things behind the scenes that make us go, well, do you want to make all those type of sacrifices? So, I guess the last of the Mohicans that would be like that would probably be Beyonce, because Blue Ivy on that stage was so adorable. I mean, she's just, every time she performs, she gets better. What is she? She's like 12. Like, I don't understand the internet and their critiques. I mean, there's nothing that girl could do. The fact that she's on a stage and she's keeping her composure and she's delivering on a stage. Listen, if you had to perform on stage with Beyonce and Beyonce's your mother, listen, the fact that she holds her composure and her nerves is everything to me. This girl was on a Renaissance tour. Okay? I don't know what planet you all are on. Some of these people. The level of haterade is just ridiculous to me. Like, just let these people live. I don't know. Maybe, it's too much. But the performance was everything. I've watched it several times. I've watched the live clippings that I was fortunate enough to have, and I've watched it a couple of times. And it's just it's a magnificent piece of art. And for those people that's trying to predict what Beyonce's doing next, please don't. We do not know what's happening on January 14th. We shouldn't even try to predict what's happening on January 14th. It's in our best interest not to. It's just no point. Let's not even kid ourselves. We don't know what's happening. And that's okay. That's okay. We can just sit back and enjoy. Just enjoy the vibes, y'all. Just enjoy the vibes. Just enjoy the vibes. Just we don't know. We don't know what it's going to be. It could be a tour, it could be a new album, it could be Act 3, it could be anything. It could be visuals, we don't know. I've just learned not to try to predict Beyonce's moves. I just learned to just enjoy the ride, just to relax. January 14th, we'll find out what it's going to be. And it's going to be on a Tuesday. So whatever that is, we'll be here waiting. Everyone always think they know something. We don't know anything. You don't know anything. Every time Beyonce does something, everyone tries to predict what she's going to do. And then we're always fooled. She could play in our face and drop a new vegan meal prep plan. Remember that when she did the whole meal plan or vegan thing she was doing? Or remember the other time where she did the new skincare announcement, but we thought it was something else? Like, we can't predict what she's doing. Was that skincare? No, that was hair care. Maybe this is skincare. I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. So I've just learned to just go with the flow and enjoy. But yes, the holidays was really nice in Houston. And then quickly, shortly after, we came back to Philly. A very quiet, chill Philly, I must say. And we had a lovely time. Our return back was, because we had nothing in our fridge. We did a huge deep clean of the house before we got back. We did that, and we was so happy, because it's nothing like coming home and your house is like spotless, like it's very clean, it smells good. One thing that I tried, and I have to say, I'm not trying to be a product salesperson, but I just have to give it props. Scentent is a really good fragrance. It's an air, not an air purifier, but a air fragrance machine. I don't know what they call it. Like, not a purifier, but not a humidifier either. It's just one of those fragrance that, like, it automatically times out, making your place smell really good, and it like puts out these nice essence. Like, you put essential oil inside of the machine, and then it purifies it with the smells, and then it creates the fragrance. And it's called Sentient. So it's Scent, SCENTIENT. I think that's how you spell it. You could find it. You can buy it online. What influenced me about it was that actually Cardi B did like a reel, and she was promoting it, and she had it, and I just was like, yo, this looks dope. And it was a Black Friday sale, and so it was buy one get one free. So I bought one for my living room and then my bedroom. And the reason why I got this is because I had a Febreze obsession. Like, I had a Febreze plug-in obsession. I was always getting the plug-ins, and I would have to replace them like every month. And I had different ones throughout the house so I can make sure the whole house was covered. But this machine, like the way it stretches out to about 5,000 square feet. My living room isn't that big like that. I mean, it's nice, spacious, but it's not 5,000 square feet. And so what I loved is that I put in the sensor and it spreads out and the whole living room smells good. Like I don't have to do all the multiple plugins. I got one and it just disperses the scent throughout, and I have replacements so I can just restock if I need to. But this one lasts a pretty long time. It disperses enough. It's very potent. It's very strong where, enough of it will do its thing. And so what I like about it is that it has hotel scents. So it's scents that smell like the essential oils of certain popular hotels. So I have one inside of my living room that smells like the Four Seasons. And I've been to the Four Seasons, and the Four Seasons has a very distinctive smell. It smells really good. And I was like, I really do. It would be nice to have my living room smell like the Four Seasons. And, I'm going to have a nice little New Year's Eve gathering with my people. So when they come and they smell it, I'm like, I wonder if they're going to catch that it's a very nice smell. It's not overpowering, but you just know that there's been a touch of something nice. It smells good, but it's not that over the top, smacks you in the face kind of scent. It's a nice subtlety. And so I love that. And then in my bedroom, I have a smell that smells like the Ritz-Carlton. And I went to the Ritz-Carlton recently, and it does have that scent. And so I just love the different ones. They have different ones that are not commercial scents. It's like waterfall, a lavender. It's different types of scents, but they sell it online. I highly recommend it. If you're somebody who's into making your house smell good, because I'm just over air freshener. Now for my bathroom is not huge, so I didn't think it'd be excessive to buy one of those for the bathroom. So what I do, I still have the plug-in for the bathroom, but my plug-in for my bathroom lasts longer because I feel like it's a smaller space, it's a more concentrated space, so I don't feel like I have to do too much, which I appreciate. So that was a worthwhile investment. So it was nice coming into the house, but the house is pretty much cleared. The refrigerator's cleared. Mostly everything is for me to set up and do catering for my little New Year's party I'm having. Something small, something intimate for a couple of friends. We're going to do something like some nice little, New Year's Eve annual tradition. I like to stay in the house. I like to keep it real small. I like to keep it real intimate. And we're going to do like a nice little catering situation, and it's going to be fun. But because of that, there is like no immediate like heavy food in the house. So we went to dinner Friday night at a place called Insatiable. And it's in South Philly, and it's by Chef Denise, who it's a fairly new restaurant. It's been open for about maybe a couple of months now, several months. But I've been wanting to go for a while, and it was just on my list, and it was always something that would come up. But I was like, this is a very quiet time of the year. A lot of the bigger restaurants have wind down, and it was long overdue. It was incredible. I highly recommend it. This restaurant it's looks can be deceiving. It's a very casual, comfort restaurant, neighborhood restaurant vibe. That's what it feels like. You could come in there with a sweater, jeans. You got to dress all fancy, but the food is definitely elevated, exquisite. And so it's that really cool vibe of like you're going somewhere that's lax, but the food is very much elevated in fine dining. So it's like just because you're going somewhere that is chill and you can dress comfortable doesn't mean your food reflects that. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. And there's a couple of Philly gyms like that. Like I think of Mazzina Social Club. I think of Polizzi Social Club, where these are places that are like Kiddo. I love Kiddo. That was a really great place. It opened a year ago. Really, really good restaurant. But like these are restaurants where you don't have to dress up, right? Like it's not like you're going to, John George's, in at Four Seasons. It's not like you're going to, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Zahav, where you want to dress a little fancier for the occasion because of where you're at. This is a place that's really relaxed, very, very chill, but the food is top tier. And very affordable, big portions. She's in that kitchen and she's whipping those pots and pans and she's bringing her all to it. The best way to describe the food is that it's very steakhouse familiar, comfort food with a French inspired twist. So, there's steak frites on the menu. There is these immaculate French onion soup dumplings. Not the steamed dumplings, but the fried dumplings. But inside of it is Gruyere and is really rich, luscious onion soup, French onion soup mix that's inside of it. One of the best appetizers I've had of the year. Top, top, top. Like, just incredible. I had a duck cassolette. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but a very, very good duck dish that was French inspired. Mr. Johnson had prawns, these really, really big ass shrimp, seasoned well with a black bean cake. Never had anything like it before, but it was a great taste. It complemented the prawns. We had these delicious lamb chops that was served with these purple potatoes, these fingerling potatoes that were multicolored and was really good. The cocktails were great. The dessert was stellar. She has a great cannoli, and I'm not really crazy about cannolis, but this cannoli dessert dish was phenomenal. She used a sweet ricotta filling with some chocolate chips, and it was a really big size cannoli that she got. I think the pastry or the pastry or whatever, I think she got from Brooklyn. Like, she's a chef's chef. Like, this woman's been in the kitchen. She's been around. She knows her stuff. And they do large parties. They do big gatherings. This is a great place if you wanted to do like a buyout situation. It'd be nice for that. A holiday party. You want to do a nice date night. You want to have a dinner party with friends. I really, really was feeling it. The prices were fair. I mean, nothing over the top. There was no major entrees. I think, and this is how I judge price points, right? So there were no entrees on the menu that was over $50. Like, that's a good way to conceptualize what I mean by affordability. Because some of y'all are like, what is affordability to Ernest versus affordability to the average person? So what I mean by affordability is that all the main course dishes were under $50. So that means that if you get drinks, you get everything else. You're looking at, for a date night, if you really want to get cocktails, you're looking at a date night that is under $150. If you do appetizers, desserts, you get some drinks, I would say that date night would be about under $150. About $150 if you did a date night there, which is really good in this economy, y'all. So in my book, it's very affordable. And that's if you splurge out. If you was getting multiple, if y'all did 2 drinks apiece, you all did multiple appetizers, you did it, that's about $150. But I think it can even be less than that if you was really like chilling. But no, I really thought that it was a nice price point. Portions were good portion sizes. I want to emphasize that the portion sizes were great. Because some Philly restaurants you go to is hit or miss with those portions. The portion sizes were really great. Really good restaurant overall. Highly recommended. Really happy that I went. And I was very impressed. It was a great date night for sure. After that, I got a facial on Saturday afternoon before I hit Atlantic City. I went to my girl Ask Alish. Ask Alish. So it's ASK Alish. It's I want to make sure it's with ALIESH. Ask Alish. She's at 92 Bethlehem Pike on the first floor. She got a brand new location that's in Chestnut Hill. She's Black owned, Black woman owned, and she is doing incredible facials. I got a gift card from a friend of mine. I went to her when she was out in the suburbs. Years ago, I went to her, and she was great then. And because she was out in the suburbs, I never really made a routine to go because of the distance. But now she's in Chestnut Hill. Now she's got her own storefront. She's got her own location. It's a beautiful shop. And you all saw the before and after results. If you saw my Instagram, my Facebook, she's incredible. I did the tier 1 facial, which is $220. Some of y'all are like, oh my God, $220. That's crazy for a facial. Let me explain. This is a seasonal facial. I go every 3 months. Okay. This is a deep cleaning facial. Like, this is not your typical put something on top, topical, little whatever. This is something deep. She goes deep into the skin. She does microdermabrasion, serum renewal, a dermaplane if you need that. She does LED light. She does extractions. She does everything. Like, she goes into the face. And so this is a splurge, but it's worth the investment. I think everybody, if you're trying to do a recharge on skincare, so this is what I do. I do seasonal facials. So what is seasonal facials? So some people get a facial every month. I've been going to Hand and Stone for facials, but I do cryo facials, which is not a deep cleaning facial, but more of a cooling, sculpting type of facial. This is a deep cleaning facial, and this is one of those deep cleaning facials that you don't need to do this every month, because your skin, I mean, listen, she does other things. Let me sidebar by before I get into this particular facial and why this matters. She does acne treatment, scar removal. She does stuff around pigmentation. She does things around skin quality renewal, hydration, all types of different skin care types. I like her because she's a Black woman that understands Black skin. She understands brown skin. She understands Black skin. She does everyone's skin, and she's good at what she do. And how good is she? She got Esthetician of the Year, Best Esthetician from Philadelphia Magazine, Best of Philly 2024. Okay, her name is Alicia Pierce. Like I said, ask Alicia. You need to go to this place. I highly recommend it. Okay. She won Best of Philly this year. And she's 59, by the way. She's about to turn 59. She does not look it at all. When you look at her skin, you say Black don't crack, she is the queen of Black don't crack. That face, baby, that's all her. She just knows what to do. But back to this seasonal facial. I believe that every 3 months, you should prepare your skin and reset your skin for a new season. Because a new season means new elements, new effects, new different changes in the weather and the climate, and your skin will be impacted by it. How you keep maintaining the glow of your skin, in my opinion, look at me sound like a junior esthetician. I feel like I know a little bit about skincare, if I do say so myself. But what I will tell you about it is that every time you enter a new season, new things change. You need to change the type of skin products you use. Now, you could keep the same brand, but you might need to change certain things, certain types of the level of it, right? So, for example, it is entering winter. The first thing I do before I change my skincare regimen is I do a new facial. I get rid of dead skin cells, my skin cell renewal. I get a brand new face. Pretty much it feels like getting a brand new face, like a whole layer of the skin. Everything that your face went through in the fall, the windiness, all of the different changes of a lack of sun because it got more fall, daylight savings time, all the different things I had to do with my skin based on that. It is taken out. It's almost like a facial detox. It's a reset, a recharge. So this allows that when I use my new skin products, so now I'm entering winter, which means that I need to up my squalene. I need to start to embrace my my ferulic acid into my skincare regimen, my toners. I'm using more hyaluronic acid for hydration because with winter dries your skin out. So I need to use a more concentrated base face wash. I can't use the lighter ones that I was using during the summer and the mid one during the fall. I need to I can't use Kalinda, which was what I was using in the summer, and I kind of brought into the fall because it was a lighter, more mild moisturizer. Now I'm using heavier based moisturizers and creams. Now I am definitely going to use incorporate, like I said, more squalene, more hyaluronic acid to hydrate the skin. Definitely going to be implementing more different types of serums, but retinol will be more increased in the winter. I'm going to use more retinol, not like all the time, but definitely will be an increase of retinol. So definitely oil cleansing. We're going to be oil cleansing more frequently. All of those things, oil-based at night, just to keep the skin barrier good, right? So there's going to be more hydration, more oil, more barrier strengthening for the winter because it's cold temperature. It is more, violent winds. All of those elements are going to impact the skin And so before I try new skin products or before I use a different type of skincare regimen for my skin, I need to strip my skin to get it ready. Because what you don't want to do is incorporate new skincare products with the seasonal change if you have not depleted your skin or detoxified your skin from previous products and previous elements. So I always will do every 3 months a deep cleansing seasonal change facial. And she's good at what she do because she goes into the skin. She does all of the repair, all of the stripping, all of that, all of the resurfacing, so that when I use my new products, my skin does not have a big, huge woo. You know, a lot of you all, when you change your skincare products for seasonal changes, because you have not been doing that deep cleansing facial before, your skin gets a little more, it reacts to it. And sometimes it may have a negative reaction, or sometimes it just might feel a little too much. Like you might sweat more, your pores might feel bloated a little bit. It may take some time to adjust because you have not depleted and have really gotten out the other products and other impacts of the other products and the seasonal changes with that cleanser. So just a pro tip for those who've been doing skincare, you might say, okay, I know I need to switch out and use more heavier products because we're entering the winter, but I hate how it feels heavier. My pores and my face might feel heavier because of that. That's because you have not done a seasonal facial cleansing. You have not done a facial that will reset the skin for you before you enter that new chapter. So I would recommend doing something like that. Now, some people like to be frugal and be cheap. You need to do a real deep cleanser, right? If you're not doing microdermabrasion, if you're not doing some serious deep pore cleanses, if you're not doing any of that, whatever facial you're getting, like chemical peel is not the answer. This is not a chemical peel situation. This is not a simple hydration situation. Like, oh, I'm going to get a hydrating facial. No, that's not this. This is something more. And it is an investment. You should invest in it because it's good for you. Now those other facials, if you want to do a hydration facial in between 3 months, if you just want to do a little cute little boost, you about to go somewhere nice, like I might do a facial before the Grammys just to give myself a little boost. You can do those. Those are fine. You know, those are cute, you know. If you do a nice little glowy facial or whatever, you can do that in between. But when I'm talking deep clean, you should do that before and in between a transition of a season. So for all of my people right now, the new year is a time. Like, do it right now. Do the first 2 weeks of January before you get into this heavy. Like, it's winter. Start making that investment. Do it now before you get into the throes of the deep winter. Because January is about to get real nasty. February is about to be a mess. March is about to be a mess. Then you want to come back around the end of March, maybe the beginning of April when spring kicks in and do a new renewal. And then you're going to use different products. You're going to use lighter products. You're not going to be too heavy on the face. So there's rules to this. And so a lot of you all ask me about my skincare. Yes, genetics help, but it's also maintaining a good skincare regimen and understanding your skin and really investing and taking the time to talk to experts and estheticians that know what the hell they're doing. So just wanted to put that out there because a lot of you all have asked me about skincare and I'm all about it, but I want you to be prepared as well. But nonetheless, she's great. You can book her. You can schedule her. She's very flexible with her times. You can make online bookings. You can stop by the store. She also has her own skincare products. If you want to buy a couple of cool things, she's great at what she do. She's a pro. She's licensed. She's it. So I just want to put that out there and give her props and also recommend her. So this weekend, I went to Atlantic City. 3/4 of the Lip Brothers. It was myself. It was, of course, Josh. It was, of course, John Marcus. Dr. Gio, of course, George. He was with his hubby. They had a nice holiday season with fans, family, and friends, and they were out of town, so he couldn't come this year. But our annual pre-New Year's Eve Lip Brothers Atlantic City excursion was a hit. Of course, we went to go see Pitbull again. I mean, Pitbull is listen, I enjoy Pitbull because Pitbull is the type of artist that knows his lane and he stays in it. There's a lot of artists out here that just want to mix it up all the time and don't have the range. Pitbull knows he is the hit maker for parties. We grew up on that music. That is when I listen to Pitbull songs, all I think about is my college years. All of those party bangers. When you ask yourself, what was I listening to when I was in the club or the frat parties or whatever party? What was I listening to when I was at the gay club? What was I listening to back then? It was his music. Like I think about Pitbull's party music. It was a rave. It was an era. It was EDM. It was all of that kind of music. It was lights. It was just party. And the lyrics weren't really saying anything, but it felt good. It was a moment. He just made those type that was feel good music, you know? So to be in that crowd, thousands of screaming fans. He can still pack a room, y'all. Thousands of screaming fans was inside that arena. And the Hard Rock was just it was popping. This year they did their big one. We got VIP access to a pre-reception with him. We got to take professional photos with him, helping to promote his new vodka. He has 305, the Pitbull Volley 305 vodka. It's his own vodka. We got autographed signed autographed signed bottles. As if I need more liquor in my house, but we got some. We got, they made specialty cocktails, different types of martinis, a mule, different drinks with the vodka. The vodka's really good. I must say, it's some of these celebrities have their own liquor brands, but their liquor brands be a little whatever. But this was a good vodka. Decent. They're trying to bring it to Pennsylvania. It is not in Pennsylvania yet. So if you want to buy a bottle, you couldn't yet. But they're going to be nationwide. They're leaving Miami. They're in Miami, but they're going to expand beyond Florida. And they're going to be on a nationwide tour. So they do got, I talked to his distributor who was there. And they said that they did get through Pennsylvania. So now it will be coming in 2025. So in 2025, y'all can expect to see this hit the market. So who knows? Pitbull might be coming to Philly to promote it. But it was great to be able to be one of the few Philadelphians to try it. And it was good. And it's great. Vodka like that just does, I would say vodka like that does well for like different types of cocktails. Like you don't want to take a shot of it. I don't really do shots of vodka. But this is one of those types of vodkas that it blends well with different types of juices, different types of mixes, different types of things. It's one of those really chill ones where you can just slide it in and it can subtly hit. And so I was feeling it. We got to meet him. Nice guy. Very, very nice. Very, very friendly. Very, very cool. Very, very nice celebrity. It's not, I've met plenty of celebrities throughout my life. And, sometimes they can be a disappointment and, just maybe not in the mood. They're not really people. They just like to perform. That's what they want to do. They ring, but he was fun. I mean, his meet and greet was very lit. And so we can't wait for those pictures to come out. But when they do, you will see them. But he was really nice. His show was great. Always a good time. It was a turn up. It was definitely a turn up. Some restaurants that we hit up. We went to Council Oak Steaks and Seafood, which is one of my favorite it's one of my favorite steakhouses in Atlantic City. What I really like about them that was a standout, because it's so many steakhouses, you can say they're great, but what I would say about them that really stood out is that they have a wide variety of different chops. We all three had different types of steaks. I had a skirt steak with chimichurri that was really good. Jamarcus had a porterhouse, and Josh had a filet mignon. Each one of those steaks were phenomenal. Each one of them. Each one of the cuts. The seafood was really good as well. They had some big ass oysters. I don't remember which oysters they had, but the ones they had, baby, they were meaty. They were meaty. Okay, they were not the little cute little ones, little sweet Amelias. No, baby, these were big ass ones. They were the ones. Okay, a dozen of those was a meal within itself. We had a dozen of those oysters, and I could barely listen. They were filling. Those were some big ass oysters. I gotta say, I was highly impressed. We went to Hard Rock after the concert for a little nightcap. We just had junk food. We was just really vibing. Then the next day, before we left, we sobered down in recovery mode. We went to Yu Noodle Bar, which is also by the way, we were staying at the Hard Rock Resort and Casino. That's where we were staying. We stayed at the Hard Rock Resort in Atlantic City. I told you all that each of these resorts in Atlantic City have a different mood and vibe. I feel like Hard Rock is perfect for millennials. They have really great concerts, really great shows. They have very great variety of different restaurants. They have stuff that are highbrow, midbrow, fun, eclectic. I feel like this is the perfect casino for millennials. That's how I will put it. It is perfect for millennials. If you are somebody that's under 40 and you want to go to Atlantic City and you have a good time and you want something that does not feel like super, super ritzy and over the top. Like, I like a ritzy over the top, to be honest. Like, I love ocean. I love regatta. But I'm thinking about all of my, peers and folks that are like, look, I want to go somewhere. I want to spend some money because if you go to Atlantic City and it has some money on you. But do I really want to break the bank and go over the top? I want something that's reasonable, fun, a cute staycation, a cute little overnight, but fun, enjoyable entertainment, real upbeat. I want to say Hard Rock Casino Resort. That is the perfect age appropriate mix. You don't feel too old. Like some of these casinos and resorts are fancy and nice, but I always will feel like I'm the youngest person there. I feel like at Hard Rock, I saw a lot of people around my age. It was very social. It was very hip. And when you got a packed arena for Pitbull, like, that was it. That was the selling point. So, and they do have a casino for people that want to gamble. But I definitely would say that is the one. That is the one for me. Yeah, that was the one for me. So yeah, I highly recommend that space. So let's get into it. Let's get into hot topics. Before there's only one hot topic I want to talk about because I want to spend most of this time getting into the worst of, the best of, all the trends. That's more of my speed. But let's get into one major thing before we get into the best of the year, the worst of the year. I got to take a moment to talk about this GOP fight. The GOP, baby, they're fighting. The girls are fighting. With everything. The civil war that took place on social media between the tech bros, the conservative mega tech bros, and the white supremacists of the mega clan was just interesting to watch. Elon Musk, who is South African. That's why I always tell y'all to put that when we say black, don't assume, right? African American, don't assume black, because technically Elon Musk is African American. He is from the continent of Africa. He came to the United States. He is now an American citizen. He's technically African American. But we say black. That's why I tell people I say black. Because you cannot, like I said before, nationality and race and ethnicity are three separate things. And y'all get that confused. Y'all get that nationality. Everybody, like this one person, Luigi is not white, he's Italian. Baby, he is white. He's an Italian American. That's a nationality. That's not a racial identity. White is white, baby. There are white Italians. There are black Italians. Okay? His nationality does not speak to his race. Okay? Let's talk about it. Because people wanted to play that. And so Elon Musk is a white African. Okay? He's South African, but he lives in the U.S. now, of course. So, he's partnering up with Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm going to butcher his name. But, Ramaswamy is, he's Indian. So you have two immigrants that have come to this country, and they are considered model minorities, success stories to, the American dream narrative, right? They're pushing back on some of this immigration talk with these HB1 visas. Basically arguing that people that's coming here to get a college education, people that's working, people that's doing all the things, that they're bringing value to the United States, and they should be able to come here and to work. They should be able to be here. We need them here. And not Bush. Trump has said, he's been, clarifying his stances on deportation lately. And now white folks are getting mad. White mega supporters are being mad. Let me be very clear. Because they're like, wait a minute. These people are taking our jobs. But then, of course, Trump is trying to make a differentiation between the border and, of course, some of his mega, the Elon Musk of the world. They're focused on, wait a minute, we were talking about deportation, not all immigrants, but the border folks, right? Because in their mind, they're thinking of undocumented immigrants that are crossing the border, basically those who are Latino, probably. That's who they're thinking about. They wasn't thinking about everybody else. But see, I'm ready to put some things in perspective for y'all because I've been calling this for a long time. Here's what my bold take is. Because I know when I'm ready to say it, because now at this point, with this little back and forth that's been arguing between them, white mega is mad at tech bros and model minority mega. Because now we can now put categories now. Mega is not just white people. It's also model minorities. These are Indian Americans, Asian Americans, Latino Americans that voted for Trump. They're what I call the model minority base because they believe that Trump is not going to harm them and that they're going to benefit from Trump's policies because they think they're the good ones. Because if you actually, if you've been reading any of these interviews from Latinos who voted for Trump, they are saying that they don't support, they want those quote unquote illegal, quote unquote, individuals to be going back to where they came from, which is where they came from originally. Because let's be clear, no one can tell Black Americans. Because I want to be clear about Black Americans real quick. Listen, you can't tell me to come back where I came. Baby, how did I get here? Don't tell me to come back where I came from. Because then you're going to have to tell my ancestors. And if we do reverse immigration when it comes to Black people and the forcedness of Black Americans, you will have no America. Because we're the ones who really built this country. We were slaves. We were enslaved. Okay? My ancestors were the ones building this. This American economy, this capitalism, was always predicated off of exploited labor. There was never no honest living for American culture. Okay? From the natives, the indigenous people, to Black Americans who were taken from our motherland, Africa, right? Brought us here, forced us to work. We did not come here and choose to work. We was not paid a fucking cent. Okay? There was no under the table payment for us. This country was built off of slave labor, enslaved people, enslaved Black people. Let's name it, right? That was how this country was built. And then from there was Jim Crow and everything else that followed. But this whole American enterprise and this capitalistic society that we have in the society was built off of exploited labor. It's always been that way. This is a violent history. So this whole American dream was built off the backs of Black folks that did not have that. Because I guess American history is not teaching it yet they used to, but you're going to get a brief history lesson on this podcast. This was exploited labor from day one. So model minorities, right? Those who come to this country by choice, right? That are able to reap benefits, right? They carry a sense of anti-Blackness. And they forget how all this was done. The one thing you can never call Black people is lazy. Because if I choose to rest in my lifetime, it's because of the lack of rest that my ancestors had. That level of labor has been through our bloodstream, through our DNA. So, miss me with the lazy shit. Please. Because there's been no conversation of reparations, and we probably won't get any in our lifetime. I'm not holding my breath for that. But I want to be very clear that there's a culture and there's a mindset. And that mindset is what led us to this point. And this is why we've had the friction and the tension and the issues because of that history. You cannot have a conversation about American dreams and labor and capitalism without having a conversation about slavery. Because for the 19th and 20th century, that type of labor is what built this country. And now the new slavery is mass incarceration, which is disproportionately impacting Black Americans, right? So you continue to see that some level of exploited labor continues to build this economy. So that brings me back to my theory. My theory is that the white mega desire to deport people and to shut down immigration was never about losing jobs. Because the jobs were already exploited. This country benefits off exploited labor. They were never worried. Because remember, I kept saying the whole argument about undocumented, immigrants coming across the border to take jobs. They weren't taking what jobs? Tech jobs? No. They were getting jobs that were field jobs that were exploited labor from farm owners that were who? Mostly white. that were paying them under the table. They didn't just walk into those fields and start working. Who paid them? Who owns those fields? Who was paying them under the table? Like, stop it. The same rural white Americans that are arguing about stopping this mass immigration and all this are the same people that benefit from that exploited labor. So then, if it's not about immigration, if it's not about labor, because the labor argument never made sense to me. They're taking our jobs. No, they're not. Who was taking those jobs? Oh, the model minorities. But they were taking jobs y'all would never qualify for because y'all didn't want to go to college, right? Right. So then what was the reason? What's the answer, y'all? It's called racism. It's called xenophobia. It was because of the fact that for many years, remember the stats that said by the year 2050, right, that white people will be the minority race in this country. And so there was a Eurogenic attitude around this. This is all about Eurogenic. This is all about keeping the white race dominant in America because the browning of America was fearing them, right? That more immigrants come to this country, set up shop, have babies, expand citizenship, then they would outpace white people by the mid-level of this century. That the whole paradigm shift. And there was a mindset that, oh my goodness, Republicans saw it, right? They said, if we do not change the demographic or get it, we're gonna lose political power. Because Democrats for a long time had a hold on black and brown voters. So the mindset was, we have to do something fast. And so what did they do? They found a way to pit races against each other. They found a way to pit and create and bolster model minorities, pit them against the immigrants that were coming into the country that were less fortunate, pit them against each other, embolden them, tokenize them, and then find a way to have them fight against the increase. Because the only reason why they're not encouraging it is because they've been pitted against each other. So you have Latinos in America that do not like other Latinos. They do not like working class immigrant Latinos that are undocumented because they feel like they're going to threaten their way of life. Because white supremacy then pit them against each other. And we see this happen in various communities. This happens in certain aspects of the black community where you see there is colorism, there is classism, there's a weaponizing of, people from the hood and people that move up better. They want us to believe into this logic of they didn't work hard enough, that this is not systemic. All of this is institutional systemic. White supremacy creates outcomes that are predictable for various groups of people, including themselves. This is how it works. Did y'all forget all the lessons of 2020? Remember that when we were talking racial uprisings and all that? Did we forget how systemic racism, institutional racism works? Did that just go out the window all of a sudden? We didn't learn anything, did we? Well, I did. I already knew hell. But a couple of folks that clearly forgot the lessons that was taught during that time. But it all played out. And now there are people in MAGA that are like model minorities. Like, hold on now. We want the good ones. And they're realizing that white MAGA didn't want none of them because all of them is a threat to them. It was never about illegal, quote unquote, illegals, quote unquote. It was never about undocumented people. There was never a conversation about a pathway to citizenship because they wanted to stop it. Exactly. So, congratulations, you played yourself. Trump seems to be reneging, though. He seems to not want to completely ban everybody because I think he's realizing, like, this economy, And how I know this is because even with this TikTok situation, he's talking about TikTok has a sweet part of his heart or something, or some crap. Like, he doesn't want to get rid of TikTok, but, like, TikTok is a Chinese company. Wasn't you very anti-China? The China virus, all that bigoted bullshit. Like, it's interesting that he wants to switch up on TikTok, though. And these tariffs. It's very interesting. All that talk to fuel a very racist base of voters to show up to the polls. And now he's about to get in this White House and he's going to probably renege on some stuff. The infighting has begun. And at this point, all you can do is laugh to keep from crying. Or just, hope for the better. Which brings me to my best and worst of 2024. So, for me, the best of 2024. The best. What was the best? Well, let's talk about politics. National and local across the board. The best in these trends were common across the board. I will say that the worst of politics, both nationally and locally, were two groups: the establishment and the extremists on both sides. The establishment failed us, okay? Whether it was the Democratic machine of Philadelphia or the establishment of the Democrats nationally, the Nancy Pelosi's, the old guard, the Bidens, all of the establishment across the board, the Democratic establishment just failed us. They were not honest about the realities of what was really happening. And let me just give a caveat to say that I don't blame Kamala. She's the one person in that equation that I don't blame. I think she did what she could with what she had. And I just felt like the party failed her. The party failed her. I think that she deserved her turn. And she pushed and she fought a campaign as she could. I don't care what Lindy Lee got to say. I don't care about all these backstabbing Democrats that want to fold on their party. Y'all was in there at the parties with the champagne, taking the pictures. I don't want to hear y'all now complain. Seriously, shut up. Be quiet. This ain't about y'all. Because y'all was telling Kamala she was the best, and honestly, I was rooting for her. So I don't fault her in that conversation. But Biden, absolutely. Biden should have left a long time ago. It's time to just call a spade a spade. If he knew what was going to happen, you should have left in December of last year. A year ago, Biden should have been telling us what it was, so we would have had a primary. And I do think Kamala might have still won that primary. I would have wanted her to. But Nancy Pelosi, behind the scenes, still trying to engineer stuff. It's time to let go of the power. And they won't let go of the power. Look at what happened to AOC recently. She wanted to get on a certain cabinet committee to chair something, and they did not let that happen for a man that is cancer stricken, that's 39 years older than her. And she's in her mid-30s. Like, we're failing the future across the board. You look at the establishment here. Everybody in Philadelphia, the establishment wants to hold on to the same tactics. We're going to use big labor to be our bullying dog, to push through policies that are half-assed and does not actually do anything to help the very people we claim to represent. The 76ers arena proposal is probably one of the worst policy decisions made in city council in the past decade. It's terrible. I don't support it. And let me say this. Sherelle Parker has been a mayor for a year. A lot of y'all said, oh, Ernest, you're so soft. Blah, blah, blah. Let me say this. I want to give grace and space to a black woman. The first woman mayor, the first black woman to be mayor in Philadelphia. I wanted to give her a year to give a plan, to make her pitch, to do her big one, right? And I think everybody deserves a chance, and everything. And I wanted to see things play out. But coming into 2025, we've seen the work, we've seen the proposals. It's time to look inside. Now I have something to criticize. I think the problem is with some of y'all is that you can't criticize somebody who has not put a plan or put anything in motion. She was in implementation. There was opportunities for checks and balances. But now decisions have been made, policies have been implemented. Now I feel like it's fair for me to critique it. Because what I didn't want to happen is that I came swinging out the gate, then you know what they would have said. Oh, Ernest is being a misogynist. Oh, anti-black woman. You know what they do. Because here's the thing. You can't call me racist because I'm black. You can't say any of that, right? You can't call me ugly because I'm cute, right? You can't call me dumb because I'm smart as hell. You can't call me homophobic because I'm gay as hell. What else can you call me? The only narrative that you can say if you was a hater, right, is sexism because I'm not a woman. So that would be the only thing they could say. If they would call me, if they could call me racist, they would. White folks be trying to call me racist if that exists. You can't be racist. I digress. But they couldn't call me anything else.
So the only thing they could call me would be sexist. And so I did not want the critics, the haters, the supporters of her to run down the sexist argument immediately. And also, I just want to be fair. So now, if I critique Sherelle Parker's administration and I'm critical, I can now talk about substantive things. I could talk about the policies. I could talk about them, and I can be fair in my rationale because I can say, well, in this situation, she could have did it this way, but she didn't. She said this, and now she said this. She was a hypocrite on this. I now have receipts. See, the problem with some of y'all is y'all jump out at people and say things or critique people or say you don't like something, and you don't even have any receipts. You don't even have any rationale. So when you don't have an explanation or rationale, then what is it? What does that make it? It can be potentially discriminatory. It can be a bias, right? So you got to have receipts. And so to be fair to her, I waited. I didn't want to prejudge any move that she was making. I wanted to see everything pan out. Now this will be the year where we're going to see implementation of policies. We're going to see the plans. We're going to be able to compare and contrast. We're going to be able to say, okay, here's what she said and here's what happened, right? And maybe there will be some victories and losses, but I will be in a position to do that fairly without having to be automatically, slandered. Because that's what happens to journalists and folks in media. And I think a lot of people in media had their biases coming in the gate. They didn't give her a fair shake. I was like, yeah, y'all coming too hard. She just got in there. How are y'all coming for her neck when she just got into the role? I didn't think that was fair. But now it's been a full year. It's time to evaluate. It's time to really compare some things and make some fair critiques. So I don't know if the word is being harder. It's just being that I'm going to be more aware and more mindful, but also I'm going to be more critical because now there's been a plan in place. You can't critique someone if they don't have a plan. So y'all not gonna be running around here talking about something. Oh, he got an anti-black woman because I'm gonna throw it in your face. I'm gonna say, give me the year 2024 and tell me where was I? What article did I write? What thing did I write where I was highly critical and then I give her a fair chance? Give me the example. Because in 2025, it's going up. It's up. It's up in 2025, y'all. It's up. We're gonna have it's time. City Council done showed its ass. These people done made these it's up. Y'all done sensed it this year. Y'all done already sensed these past couple of weeks. Oh, gloves are off, baby. We are in. We're in. When City Council starts January 23rd, 2025, when they return back to session, you're going to see, I ain't going to say y'all ain't going to see a new Ernest, but y'all are going to see a return of an Ernest that is very mindful and aware and critical of our current political state. Gloves are off, baby. We're in there. Okay? Just giving y'all the heads up. And as far as national politics go, it's just a moment of I told you so, baby. These 4 years, let's just get to the midterms. I'm already ready for 2026. I'm ready for them to lose this house. I think that at the rate that the Republicans are going, they could potentially lose the house in 2026. I think they can lose that house. I don't know about the Senate. I think there's enough Senate seats they won, but I definitely think they can lose the House in 2026 if Democrats wake the fuck up and get their shit together. But so far, the worst for me was the establishment. The extremists too. Progressive extremists were annoying as shit. Okay? I understand that the issues in Palestine that continue to happen are horrific. A humanitarian crisis. There's no denial there. But all of you all that said y'all wasn't going to vote or tried to tell people not to vote, all that, Trump's still in office. What y'all going to do? What's the plan? Because I've been saying this from day one. Where was the plan for the issues around pro-Palestine, right? The pro-Palestine protesters, advocates, activists, you all said to us that Kamala Harris is just as bad. Everybody wanted to call Joe Biden Genocide Joe, all that. Okay, they're out. Trump's in. Where is the protests? Where's the protests at? Are y'all going to protest at the inauguration in January? Are y'all going to protest then? Are y'all about to turn up? Because it's been quiet. Y'all done took your ass back to Starbucks. What happened? Because the genocide is still going on, y'all say. Y'all claiming, y'all call it genocide, right? I'm just quoting y'all. You all said that there's a crisis. Where is the action? Where's the smoke for Trump on the issue? Because you had all this smoke for Harris and for Biden and all that, right?
Y'all gonna do it differently? We're gonna take out the anti-Semitism in some of this rhetoric. Some of the rhetoric was anti-Semitic. It was unacceptable, right? But outside of all that, the people who was fighting the good fight claiming that there was issues there. Where's the accountability? What are y'all gonna do? Are y'all gonna protest? Are y'all gonna show up against Trump? Are y'all gonna hold him accountable in his policies? What y'all gonna do? Or y'all gonna do a new grift? What, y'all gonna tell us to buy some products and t-shirts? Because I've been waiting to say something about this. Because the extremists, the progressive extremists that was on that side, that was talking all that talk, I don't see the protest. I just, everybody done went away. Everybody didn't calm down. Everybody quiet all of a sudden. Everybody ain't talking about it anymore. See, it was cute. See, because that's what it was, because it wasn't about that. It wasn't about that to me. I never truly believed that it was really about that when it came to Harris. A lot of people was using their sexism. There was a lot of anti-blackness, a lot of subtle sexism. All that smoke for Kamala. I kept saying, why are they not taking it to Trump? This reminds me of 2016 all over again with Hillary. It was like, yeah, y'all want to critique Hillary because Bernie Sanders. But it's always safe for these white men, though. Interesting. And of course, the extremists on the mega side, right? The mega establishment was trash. Republicans like Liz Cheney wanna go both ways, right? Mitt Romney, the staff, what all those women over there in Maine, they can't make Susan, right? All these establishment Republicans that act like they was gonna put their line in the sand and stay up there and then turn around for Trump. Nikki Haley, who has no fucking backbone and still got played. All those black Republicans like Tim Scott and Byron Donalds and all of them that just thought that they were going to be chosen and then get shit. Herschel Walker going to be the ambassador of the Bahamas. Like, ain't no one really got a cabinet seat. But they sure did find that black one for HUD. Remember I told you, there's always going to be a black person over there in housing development. He said, we're going to give you the hood. You're going to handle the hood. Urban projects and all that, right? Housing and urban development, HUD. Always, Ben Carson, always gonna have a black one for that job. They found them, their token black person for that, Republicans did. But the establishment across the board, the mega extremists, right? Too much violence, assassination attempts, the extremism on both sides ruined politics, national politics. And in Philly too, right? But what was good? In spite of all this bullshit, what was the best? I will say pragmatic progressives were my absolute favorite this year. They get it for me. Pragmatic progressives. You all did your big one, locally and nationally. AOC was definitely a favorite. Her speech at the DNC, she didn't have to do it, but she did it. She understood the assignment. She understood at the end of the day, now is not the time to push extremism. It's time to bring people together. And so I thought that was commendable. While other people were still trying to nitpick and nag, she said, let me get the fuck out the way and do what's right for democracy. So AOC, I was impressed with her. She understood the assignment. She's trying to make change. And now she's convinced me the establishment and the Nancy Pelosi's of the world are evil because AOC has found a middle ground. She's progressive, but she's found a middle ground and she's rational and she's pragmatic. And she should have been in that committee chair seat. And so I'm disgusted by what the establishment has done because we don't need that. Because to me, the establishment is the extremists. I think about Philadelphia. I think about the Working Families Party. Shout out to the Working Families Party because they got out their own way. They came out and they endorsed Kamala. Progressives across the board was mad at them. The extremists were mad. They said, no, y'all, we got to build power. And you're not going to be able to build power if we're under a Trump regime, if everybody's taking over everything. They understood that. They came to common ground. Working Families Party in Philadelphia, locally. The Rue Landau's, the Pragmatic Progressives, the Rues, the Jamie Gauthiers, the Jay Youngs. These people have forward thinking. Kendra Brooks, of course, and Nicholas O'Rourke. The five of them stood on business and voted against the arena. In spite of all the intimidation, all the fake ass bullying, all the people talking about you're anti-union and all that crap, they did not bow and cow down to kingmakers and establishment. They stood their business. That to me represents the best of politics this year. Because those are people who had the courage and integrity and they had common sense. And we need more people that's going to stand on the principles, right? Because I'm disappointed in the moderate Democrats. You all were trying so hard. You pimped out your values. You're trying so hard, right? You want to now go against trans people. Now you want to blame trans people for issues. Now, I heard what Lindy Lee said. Fuck Lindy Lee. You sat up there with all these Democrats. You're fake as fuck. Now you want to talk about, I want to see, I want to see a man is a man, a woman is a woman. How dare you? How fucking dare you? And when this backfires, because we see this happen all the time, model minorities, they think they're special. You're talking about the Democratic Party in court you well, so you're going to go Republican. You see how they do? You see how people like that do? Black people already knew about Lindy Lee in Philadelphia. A lot of people saw her come in fake. You know it when you see it. Because here's the issue with me that I don't get. How you going to go to the other side when the other side don't like your ass either? Okay, so Democrats pissed you off. Okay, fine. Democrats may not be perfect, fine. But the things that they stand on, the policies they represent is mega. You know what mega represents. So why would you even go to Fox News, entertain Fox News, and entertain those type of people? Make it make the fuck sense. Because for you, politics is a game. Because you have the luxury as a rich person to be able to flip sides because you feel like you're not going to be touched or bothered any type of way. Because for you, it's conditional. For me, it's my livelihood. As much as I can't stand Democrats, as long as we have a two-party system, I'm not going to vote against them unless they completely turn MAGA. They have not done that. So unfortunately, the default for me will be Democrat, unless there is a very formidable challenger to that. Now, in local politics, if there's an opportunity to take out a Democrat for a working family party person, I'm at that point where I'm going to do that. I'm convinced. But as far as Democrats on national level, national politics, it ain't working for me. You can never convince me to be a Republican right now. You can never convince me to entertain Trump and kiss ass. That's what an opportunist does. That's what a grifter do. And I'm neither of those things. It's time to call it. And y'all better watch out for these rich ass donors. I told y'all, big money in politics is a mess for everybody. Democrats got too addicted to that. It's too many people compromising their principles in the name of trying to get along and fix in. So Lindy Lee that's going to be her character for the next 4 years. There's always a new character. She's going to be the former Democratic donor that has all this insight and intel, and she's going to go and trash Democrats because it's going to keep her relevant. Because really what she wants is to feel important. Rich people don't want no more money. I mean, she's got enough money. What she wants is to feel important. She's so pressed on being a personality. She wants fame. Because she don't got a family. Because she ain't got the things that regular people aspire. Because nobody likes her. So she wants attention. She wants the fanfare. They want to be celebrities. Look at Elon Musk. Nobody wants Elon Musk. Elon Musk is so rich, he don't know what to do with himself. So now he wants to make himself important by acquiring roles and positions where he has to force people onto him. But that man feels miserable every fucking day. Elon Musk don't like himself. And to be honest, I don't think in my opinion, Lindy Lee is satisfied with herself. I think she wants so much attention and so much validation because she doesn't feel it within. People that do stuff like that is very telling. I'm reading. It's the end of the year. I'm reading people. It's the end of the year. The best and the worst of the year. Worst of the year, people like her. People like Elon Musk. Model minorities that turned over and went mega thinking it was going to protect them. The worst of the year. The best of the year, pragmatic progressives. People who got out their own way for the better good of the people. People who put politics aside to try to save civilization and save democracy as we know it. That's my best. Now, with trends. Trends overall. Trends that I did not like this year. Influencer culture is definitely taking a nosedive. I think we've hit peak influencer culture. Now, in 2020, when I first started this podcast, when we was all the way at episode 1, not episode 200, influencer was on the rise because they were filling a gap. They were filling a gap, and the gap was helping to support small businesses, expose people. During the pandemic, there were businesses that needed support. We were all, hyperactively, chronically online. We were extremely online. We were going through the emotions, through the waves. And so influencers gave us entertainment. They gave us joy. They gave us things to think about. They gave us awareness to products and brands and things that we need to, do. And it was a moment, right? It was promising. It was what we needed at that time. And now it's been 4 years, and I think we've hit the boom and bust of the influencer world. I always tell people, what is the defining moment? I think that when influencers got in politics and they got involved with elections, and that couldn't save Kamala Harris from winning the presidency, we began to realize very quickly the cap, the ceiling of influencers, and the level to which they've become demanding. I think people thought replacing journalists with influencers was going to be cheaper. But now these influencers got some dip on their chip, and now they feel like they deserve, the big bucks. They deserve like employment. They think that they're their own person. People talking about there needs to be a union. Excuse me? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there should. Who knows? They got agents now. They're demanding all this stuff. And it's like, well, let's hold on a minute. The reason why people was feeling influencers is because the logic was influencers were alternatives to famous people, because famous people, you didn't want to pay for endorsements, right? So you didn't want to pay for J-Lo to promote something, or you didn't want to get Michael B. Jordan to be the face of something. So you said, okay, these are everyday people that look normal until they weren't. We could get them to just, hype it up. They got a following because they're cool and catchy, right? But they began to think that they're celebrities. And so then so then it was like, well, what's the point of having all of these, influencers if they're going to be treated like celebrities and demand the same amount of celebrities? Like, what's the point? So that's why I'm just in this space of like, I don't see them lasting next year. I think 2025, they're going to begin to fade out. I'm really, really in the sense that I think they're going to fade out. By then, I think we're at peak influencer culture. I mean, because they're not saving anything. The necessity of an influencer doesn't carry the same weight as it did many years ago, right? Because the whole argument was you get influencers to help boost awareness and get results. But influencers are not doing that, because a lot of it is oversaturated. A lot of people are buying followers. A lot of people are scamming. A lot of people are grifting off of it. A lot of people are just lying. So you don't really know who's real and who's not real, And then also too, they're not saving the things, right? So a lot of restaurants have started and thought, oh, let's get a bunch of influence in here to get people to go to restaurants. Well, they'll get these influencers, and then the restaurants will still close. They will still flop. Because I think also people are not trusting the authenticity of it anymore. Like, if everybody's saying your thing is good, you're just paying for hype people. You're just paying for people to be hype men for your concerts. Like, they're just hype people for your stuff. It's like, you might as well have a celebrity do it all over again. At least, if a celebrity endorsement even matters. I think that brings me to my point of a trend that I do like. But I'm going to get to other trends because I'm gonna talk about the positive, but there is a increase in something else that I'm speaking to in the better trends, but these are the worst trends so far. So influence is a trend that I'm like was a bad trend that I just hope goes away. I think it's gonna fade out. The influencer trend I think is going down. And some of my friends who have done it, they're pivoting. They're going into consulting. They're going into other avenues of stuff that they are going to take this talents they learn from this and then build on something else, which is smart. Other trends that I did not like this year. We got to be done with the conspiracy theorists. Like, can we stop amplifying conspiracy theorists? Like, I'm so over that. I'm so over the trend of conspiracy theorists. Like, oh my God, Orlando Brown and Jaguar Wright. It's just, and all these other people in between, to be honest, conspiracy theorist to me is another word of saying you're a washed up hater. It really is. Most of these people that you guys are like lauding and going up for are washed up has-been celebrities that are bitter about their lot in life, and all they want to do is just sit up and create excuses for why they failed. So how do they do that? They hate on people that's doing better than them, living better than them, achieving things they haven't achieved. So now they want to convince everybody that these people have had to sell their souls and do all these different things. No, they probably didn't do all that. What happened was that you just wasn't that good and you wasn't that talented and something didn't happen for you. So rather than you just, live with that discomfort, get a new job, get a new hobby, you want to now spend the rest of your life creating 1,000 excuses and reasons for why other people are doing better than you. Like at some point, you're just a glorified has-been hater. We just got to be done with conspiracy theorists. I feel like politically, socially, pop culture wise, like it just baffles me that some of these people have all these things to say and all these thoughts. And I think the problem is that there becomes a vibe where one person do it and then everybody wants to do it or everybody wants to jump on a trend. And it's just a mess to me because I'm like, Cat Williams, he said some things, right? He had a moment where he shared some truths and some experiences, some thoughts. Some of it, was fair. Some of it was a little weird. But, to the most part, this man told his truth. He shared his thoughts, right? That was a moment in pop culture and it was what it was. But then everybody else wanted to do the same thing. And it's like, some of y'all, I don't believe that. I'm not buying it. Some of y'all weren't ever that popping. Like for all the stuff Jag Rice says, I'm like, you never was that hot. You was never in like that. You was never that girl. When I think about Orlando Brown, like, okay, you had a moment, you did a hot show, you was around, but like, dude, what was that, 15, 20 years ago? Like, come on, y'all. Listen to these people's families. Look at their rap sheets. Okay. It's very telling. So I just want us to be done with that. Stop sending me videos. Stop. Every time you see something, sharing it. Stop sharing unverifiable information. Stop it. Like everybody sees stuff on Twitter. Person puts something stupid on Twitter. Half-baked, half-research points. Missing important details that will close the gap on certain information. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Like revisionist history, people fucking up the timeline, right? Like they'll say, oh, this happened and then this happened and then what happened there? And it's like, okay, did you miss the other gap? Like I saw some conspiracy theorists about Beyonce. I just find it funny how the world wants to convince us that Black sports stars and musicians are so entrapped in this global conspiracy and hold all this power. But somehow all these white business executives, CEOs, corporate leaders, all those people just somehow are not in these conversations around global power and dominance. But somehow we're supposed to just believe that a couple of these Black celebrities that have money, that are like billionaires, are the ones that are so corrupt and so conspiracy driven, but no conversations about none of these other, wealthy, white, influential folks that actually control technology and control water and control oil, transfers. Interesting how, CEOs that own nanotechnology, none of these people are being called out. You know why? Because the conspiracy theorists are dumb as fuck. They don't know nothing. They don't actually know anything. And the only people that they look to and obsessed with is celebrity culture. So the only people they can make up lies about are people they are aware of because they don't know about the other folks that actually really control the world or control food, food distribution and food supply and everything else. Oh, none of those CEOs and executives. No. We're going to focus on the leader of Rock Nation because Rock Nation is just so influential. Like, it's just, to me, the lack of education, the lack of understanding how the world works, and the internalized anti-Blackness. Because it's like, not that I believe conspiracy theorists, right? But just like no conspiracy theorists about Taylor Swift, no massive, conspiracy about Taylor, even though she's got all these global fans. But somehow Beyonce's satanic and demonic and her performances have all these symbols. But somehow Taylor Swift has all of these stadiums and $1 billion, $2 billion world tour, but no, somehow none of the things she do is satanic and demonizing Illuminati. She's just regular white girl, huh?
she is a regular white girl. And Beyonce is a regular performer. She's talented. And neither of these people are doing anything they're being accused of. But do you notice how anytime Black people in success are vilified, it's always coming from this sense of conspiracy? That, to me, is the anti-Blackness of it all. And then also with conspiracy theory, right? It's always dredged in homophobia and misogyny, right? Like, oh, so, these women had to sleep their way to the top and sacrifice their femininity. And, oh, these people had to sleep with other men. And heaven forbid that, it's a secret that they're gay. And so they're in this secret, sexcapade. It's like, well, maybe they're just closeted people that don't want people to know their sexuality, because unfortunately, people still act like being gay is like being a unicorn in the 21st century. Like, again, so many urban legends and myths and things. And while, yes, there are some people that have been abusive and problematic, like, of course, Diddy, we get one situation and then we want to extrapolate it and make it a mass conspiracy theory. It's like, you got to stop doing that. People want to project their trauma and project all of their own personal experiences into celebrity culture. Which is what brings me to my next trend that I was the worst trend. The hyper fixation on celebrity culture. The obsession with everything celebrities do, we want to hold them to a standard of our own. We've given too much power to famous people. It's enough. They can't make or break elections. They can't determine the outcomes of anything. They're just, they're capitalists. They're involved in their money. Like, to try to make them say, oh, they need to use their voice. Well, what is that going to do? They don't hold the power. We spent more energy obsessed on celebrities speaking out against issues around the world than we did actual elected officials and politicians. We didn't even keep the energy on everybody the same way. We didn't even focus on local politics. There's issues going on in our own communities, and we waited for Meek Mill to say something, but we wasn't worried about what the mayor was going to do or whatever, right? And I'm not talking about Philadelphia, because gun violence went down in Philadelphia, but I'm just talking about when you look at all these cities, right? There is somebody still asking Obama, who's no longer president, to show up and say something, rather than their state rep, their state senator, the congressperson, or their actual U.S. senator representing their state. Like, it's just very interesting, the displacement of what we hold people to speak on. You're out here chasing Alec Baldwin, asking him to speak about what's going on in Gaza, but there's congressional people that is voting on budgets to give, more weapons and missiles to other areas. Like, where is the placement here? There are people taking selfies with folks they should have been asking tough questions to. I just find it very interesting how much we put celebrity pressure. Like, we just put too much focus on celebrities. I'm not saying celebrities should be off the hook. Hold them accountable when they speak out of turn. I feel like when a celebrity chooses to enter into a political arena, then how they choose to respond, then we critique, right? So when Amber Rose decided she wanted to go mega, yeah, drag her. Respectfully. Not physically, no violence. No online, cyberbullying. We don't endorse that. But critiquing Amber Rose, not supporting Amber Rose because she decided to go full mega, absolutely. That is right? Okay, because I wrote the book on cancel culture, right? If we want to cancel Amber Rose because of her beliefs that do not align with our beliefs, we have every right to. However, right, if Amber Rose was not talking about politics at all, she was minding her business, and she was not trying to profit on any way of political issues, right? If she didn't talk about social justice, if that wasn't her business, and she minded her business, I'm okay with that. I would rather not know, leave us alone, do what you do best. A perfect example of that, Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter just minded her little business. You know what I'm saying? She minded her business. She didn't get in the mix of anything, right? She just made her music, Taylor Swift, she can't, there was a lot of speculation about her politics, and she made it clear where she stood. Good for her, right? She endorsed Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And, look, her fans, we thought that was going to change the way people voted. Clearly, the white fans said, look, two things can be true. We can like Taylor Swift, and we can support Trump. So she didn't have any sway on her fans in that political way. But we don't have to expect celebrities. We got to stop putting celebrities in the wrong back seats. We got to stop doing it. But also, that doesn't mean that we can hold them accountable when they decide to get in the seat and then they don't carry out what they're supposed to do. But we got to stop trying to force them to be more than what they are. Now, if they choose to get into the space, then it's up, right? Then we can critique, right? Because it's like, well, no one told you to speak on this issue. So if you choose to speak on the issue and you speak incorrectly or improperly or insensitively, then yeah, we'll say something. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's time for us to reset our energy on politicians. It's time for us to focus on politicians more than anything else. Other trends that I'm tired of. I think we're over the honorary degree trend. Unless you're getting an honorary degree from an actual university, you did some work, you did some work, whatever. But there's been this trend lately of people trying to claim certifications of things that they're not actually certified in, making up jobs and titles and roles that are not rooted in actually any merit or any actual labor, but just trying to make themselves seem important. These are the same people that many years ago told us that degrees don't matter, degrees don't keep you warm at night. But these are the same people that now want to lean onto some type of certifications that are not expert based or merit based, and now are trying to put themselves in the same room with people who do have these degrees. I find that very interesting. The same people that had so much mouth about saying degrees don't matter, this don't matter, now the same people that are now with the bullshit. So I go up and down with a lot of people and their hypocrisies on this front. And as a result of that, it's made me reshape and rethink, like it's not elitism. See, we was told that elitism was holding people to account on these types of certifications. That it was elitist to tell a therapist that did not have a doctorate in the field or did not have a field study that we didn't want to work with them because of that. No, what we was asking for was actually people who were experts and regulators. And some people say, well, you don't have to have this to be expert. Actually, you actually do. If you don't have a law degree, but you're out here trying to give legal advice, yeah, I actually find it a problem. If you're out here trying to give people expertise on dental care and you're not a dentist, yeah, that's a red flag for me. Now, you can give people your opinions, right? But to try to say, pay me for my services, and you don't actually have any expertise, any certifications, like legitimate critique, certifications and degrees to back up that shit. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. Yeah. Like I teach media literacy. I teach journalism. I'm a practitioner in the field. I'm somebody who has degrees in the field. I actually understand the practice of it. I can be able to tell you what is journalism and what is not journalism. And there are people that get mad at me, some of these folks that pop up at the blue and say, I'm a journalist. No, you're not, baby. Your ethics are not there. Your sourcing is not there. There's a certain type of way to do it. Listen, journalism is very methodical. Like, there is a way to do journalism. We could argue on style, right? People's style is different, but substance, everybody follows the same code. You have to. You have to. There is a process. It's like being a cook, right? You can't say, everybody can say they can cook, right? But are you a chef? Right? Everybody can write, everybody can report, but are you a journalist? You see what I'm saying? Everybody can argue and everybody can debate, but are you a litigator? Right? So there's a level here. Everybody can come up with ideas, can pitch legislation, but are you a legislator? You see what I'm saying? And so that's the problem that we're seeing, is a lot of people are out here trying to fake credentials. Everybody out here want to just fake it till they make it. They want to say, oh, I'm an author, and self-publish a book. Is that really the same thing? Necessarily? I mean, there's so many hacks. People out here just trying to buy their way into certain types of networks and industries. And I'm seeing it with everybody. It's not just people that are working class. It's very rich people. There are very rich people out here that want to cut corners and want to pay their way into certain types of spaces and places without earning it on merit. And the gag is that most working class people, I believe, represent meritocracy. There's a lot of folks out here that think they can buy their way into certain types of networks and spaces. And sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. Or sometimes they try, but you can see from the moment that it's bullshit and it's cap. And so it's a lot of that trend of faking credentials and trying to skate their way through, and people doing that's a trend that is just the worst I've seen this year. So trends that I did like, things that I love, things that I did appreciate this year. I love the fact that um, people are going back to protesting, for better or for worse. I like the fact that people are boycotting things again. I like the fact that people are taking more larger stances. Maybe the expectations might be a little extreme, but I do like the fact that people are using their voices and they are protesting on issues and in variety of issues. This year was a year of great massive protests. And from the 76ers to Gaza, I do think that the fact that people definitely did put their feet down and make declarations and is not stopping. I think that is promising because at a time where people are trying to silence democracy, I am happy that people are fighting back. A trend that I also am appreciating, and actually this was part of a trend I don't like, but I'm going to go to the ones I do like. I do like that there has been a sense of return to people wanting experts in the real thing. That while I think people are starting to fade away from a lot of fake shit, I think people are starting to wake up a little bit more and question things. The shade room is not as hot as it used to be. Um, a lot of the media pundits that we used to like obsess over are starting to fade away. I do like that people are starting to return a little bit to the back to basics. There seems to be an interest in people going back to the real McCoys of the world, the folks that are doing the things. They're not looking for alternatives anymore. And we're seeing it in trends like Keith Lee, right? People are starting to be like, is Keith Lee really a food critic, right? He's still popular, but like people are starting to push back on that, right? People are starting to say, okay, Club Shay Shay, he's not really that good of a host. He's not. Like, he's not a TV host. Like, people are starting to say, okay, are noticing the industry shifts and pivots. And it's starting to make people realize, like, Van Jones, right? Do I need all these people, these people that just in the mix too much, right? I think we're starting to see a interest in people going back to the hard boned facts. Chain restaurants are not as hot as they used to be. I think people want to go support local real food. People are getting over a lot of the cheesiness, the manufacturers. I think we're going back to a certain time where people just want what's real. And I like that. I like the fact that in spite of some areas of society, I do like the fact that most, liberal men, modern men are embracing self-care and awareness for themselves. I've seen a lot of men talk about therapy and skincare and just, not being so caught up in the hyper masculinity of it all. I think there's a lot of people, there's been some really, there's been some toxic gender conversations, of course, in society, but I'm very happy to see certain conversations being had amongst Black men. Like, I really want to say the one trend I love was just Black men in general this year. I think we definitely beat the odds in certain cases. There were some disappointments, right? But there were a lot of Black men that I think definitely beat the odds. A lot of people expected us to go a certain way in this election, and we didn't. We showed up strong for Kamala Harris. Win with Black men was a success in the fact that it proved that Black men are going to step up and are going to be on the right side of history. There's just been a lot of embrace of different expressions of masculinity, different inclusion. I've seen a lot of more queer inclusion in certain spaces that weren't before. But I'm just think we're seeing an evolving society in certain aspects, decent society, proper society. There is uncivilized society, of course. But I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see that people are beginning to fully embrace various aspects of themselves, and that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, I will say that. I will definitely say that. Um, but yeah, those are some of the trends I liked. And also, another trend before I get into restaurants, another trend I will also say too is I like the fact that people are becoming more self-aware around pivoting. Um, like I've seen a lot of people switch up careers, be more vocal about stuff that they don't like, that people are starting to really take good care of themselves, or at least be invested in the idea of taking care of themselves. I will say that has been a trend. And I don't want to call it self-care trend because I feel like that's in another world, but self-awareness. More people are starting to ask more inward questions and question systems more and question their own impact in the world. I think, and a lot of that is because of some of the crises we've experienced. But that has been a trend I've seen. More people look inward and question and ask certain questions about the world around them and be more inward. More people could read the room, but more people are trying to read the room, and that's something I've seen as a trend that I think is been good. So, kudos to people that are doing those things. Now with restaurants, bad and good. I'm gonna start with the good here. I love the fact that Mediterranean cuisine is making a comeback in Philly. And it's been a trend, but it's been growing. I love the increase. I mean, over the past year, we've seen the rise of Mona, Dear Daphne, Amira, um, you know, what was the other one I just went to? Mona. Um, Oh yeah, Jaffa, which is Dizengoff just came back. Like Israeli, Mediterranean types of food. That trend has been popping. I've been here for it this year. There's a big rise in Mediterranean cuisine in Philadelphia. It's been a boom. And another boom has been seafood. There's been a lot of seafood restaurants that's come in the past year. I'm looking at Lock Bar. I'm looking at Scampi, which is this new restaurant that just came out by Liz Goff. Her shrimp scampi is good. Little Water had just came out. Ultramare just opened earlier in 2024. Like all these seafood restaurants has had a boom. And even Jaffa, which is Michael Salmanoff's Solo and Cook's new, Israeli seafood restaurant, they're doing their thing. Like I just really love this year was a year of seafood, a year of Mediterranean cuisine, and it's grown on me a lot. I really want to say that was definitely a trend I liked in restaurants this year. Also, I like the return of tasting menus. Everybody's coming back with tasting menus a lot more. A lot of people are leaning into tasting menus and prefix menus, which I'm a big fan of. But everybody seems to try to do it. Even restaurants that typically don't do it is trying to now create something like that. I think it's economically smart. I think it's also fun. As a Libra, I don't like to make too many decisions. I like to have stuff planned out. And so I just love the fact that a lot of restaurants have leaned into tasting menus, whether they're fancy or not. An example of my favorite one of this year is Provenance. Provenance is that French restaurant. It's like French seafood restaurant that is also a part of the seafood trend that is over there in Head House Square, Society Hill area, right next to that Cobble Street over there, right next to Bloomsday. Provenance is phenomenal. It was actually one of my favorite restaurants of the year. Of course, I loved another Mediterranean coastal restaurant that just did it for me. Bastia, another coastal influence restaurant. Like that coastal Mediterranean vibe this year was just on fire across the board. Restaurant traveling was something I really loved doing. It was really great to go to different cities and see what's up. Chicago did their big one. Smith was probably the best restaurant I went to overall this year. Shout out to Lita. That was another strong one that was out there in Jersey. I enjoyed my Asbury Park travel. Lots of Atlantic City dining this year. Did not miss. Shout out to Delaware. Delaware got something to say. Y'all got to pay attention to Delaware. Y'all keep sleeping on Delaware, but Delaware is doing some big things for sure. And, the Bardia family, the Bardia restaurant scene, their restaurant group, they're hot over there. The Coin Simmer Down Bar, one of the best bars I went to this year. Chicago was just on top of the world. The restaurants I went there was great. So traveling for restaurants was really good this year. I mean, I went to a 3-star Michelin restaurant, which was just breathtaking. Definitely a memorable experience for sure. To have a Michelin star dining experience. I can't, words can't describe just how grand. I mean, we did it big, we did it small. You know, I love comfort restaurants this year. Rex of the Royal with Chef Angie Brown, my favorite chef this year. She did her big one, you know, she was great. I mean, it was a year, I mean, this was a year of just coastal dining. Um, just lots of seafood, lots of Mediterranean. That was the vibe this year. That was a restaurant trend I really appreciate this year. Um, Now to my worst of the year. Two specific groups, two specific um brands that was very, very telling. Okay. In no particular order or particular order. Let me start off with this one. Amina Restaurant Group. I don't know what's going on. They've opened like 4 restaurants in the past year and a half. There's Amina, which is in Old City, god awful. Just inconsistent. I wasn't crazy about it. Black Hen, the chicken was decent, but then those black buns at Black Hen was cringy. And the sides that were just not that good at all, that did not complement that chicken. If they just sold the chicken by itself, it could be okay. But as an overall package, it just was a disappointment. Fire, whatever the hell that was, that's not Old City. That's in the neighborhood where the old Valani used to be. It's a Afro fusion, Latin flair fusion. Just out of their element, just no point. Why is it there? I don't understand why is it there. I don't get it. I just yeah, that wasn't good. And then they just opened a new spot that I just said, you know what, I'm not even going to waste my time. But I did have a friend go. It's called Ivana. It's like an event space. It's on the Parkway. They had pizza and some other food. They said the pizza was god awful. Was terrible actually. They're making food there that's just not in their lane. So there was a lot of red flags across the board with the cuisine. Um, yeah, yeah, not looking too good. Wasn't looking too good at all. So that was a red flag. What else wasn't, they're about to open a seafood spot apparently. That's gonna be in West Philly. I think it's coming next year called Amina Ocean. I'm not going. I think the thing with them is that it's super ambitious, but it's just not good. And clearly there's a crowd that likes it. I'm just not that crowd. I just find everything about it to just be just super expansive, but no consistency, no direction, just all over the place. Was a big disappointment. Big disappointment. Number 2. Now I'm going to start by giving this a compliment, but then I'm going to then just let y'all know that I don't plan to go to anything open by this place. So, Taste cheesesteaks. They have one of the best cheesesteaks in Philadelphia. The oxtail cheesesteak is one of the best cheesesteaks that I've had in a long time. They have one of the best new cheesesteak. Now, my favorite cheesesteak right now is Jim's West. They are just still the go-to place. West Philly, stand up. But the oxtail cheesesteak at Taste Cheesesteak is very unique. It's very special. The flavor profile is incredible. And it's a very, very memorable spot. Now, the cheesesteak is very pricey. It's like around $36, maybe now 40, who knows? But it's over $35. But the portion size is massive. You cannot eat it by yourself unless you just, I don't know. That's a big ass cheesesteak. I can eat like half of it. It's huge. The portions, they're not skimping. But for $36, it better be, right? That's a meal. You don't even need to eat it with fries. I mean, it's just delicious, right? That's one of those splurge experiences. You have it like once a year, so you can just, whatever. But it's not something you eat like every week or every month. But the rest of the place is just a thumbs down. Overpriced. Everything in there is just super expensive for no reason. The drinks are overpriced. I think it's because of the location. It's right there on JFK Boulevard, right over there where Misconduct Tavern is. You would be better off going to Misconduct Tavern and walking into Taste Cheesesteaks. The whole marketing behind it is very confusing because he's not really from here, but his marketing is very heavily on trying to get rappers and celebrities and basketball players to eat it and like it. It's a certain clientele that's there. I feel like it's like giving new money, street money energy, where everybody up in there is probably spending using cash. Not too many credit cards are going through there. It's like it's giving a certain type of vibe and flow. Like it's giving rappers, ballers, dudes that got disposable income like that just flex. And they don't want to eat anywhere fancy, but they want to go somewhere that feels like a lounge. It's got that hip hop, lounge vibe to it. The bathroom was definitely the bathroom is very interesting. The whole look and the whole flair of it is just so different. Not my cup of tea. I felt like outside the oxtail cheesesteak, everything else was just overrated. The food isn't horrible. It's just that it's overpriced. It's a bunch of hype. The whole place is fueled on hype. Super influencer trap. A lot of influencers have been there. I just don't think. I think it was like a big, huge hype, and to build off of that hype, he is going to now open a spot called Taste Tacos. Yeah, I'm not going. First of all, I'm over the trend of everybody trying to do taco spots. Look, as a Texan, as someone who grew up in Texas, like I just believe cultural foods need to be by the people who come from that heritage or understand it enough to make it. I don't know who's making those tacos, but I just feel like it's going to be very cheesy. Like you're going to see a cheesesteak taco. Like, ew. Like, what are you doing? Like, I just want people, just people want to remix certain things. Like, this is how I feel about amakases, right? Like, if you go to a sushi spot, right, I want to have authentic, original sushi, like the way that it's meant to be, right? Not people coming in here throwing their own remixes on it and capitalizing off of a culture that they don't belong to. I just really, I feel that way about that. And I just don't know what these tacos are giving. But if it's anything like Taste Cheesesteaks, then I have no need for Taste Tacos when it opens, next year. So those are my two biggest worsts of the year. Amina's and the whole Amina restaurant group just needs a whole new revamp. And then the Taste brand, I wasn't crazy about both of those. Other trends in the city that I wasn't feeling. I don't know if I have a specific name for them, but I do think that we could do with less bagel spots. All these bagel and companies popping up. The bagels are not that good. Maybe that's another trend. Bagel and Company. I'm not crazy about Bagel and Company. I also think another trend that I'm getting a little over is pop-up kitchens. Ghost kitchens. Oh my God. Those are not the same as pop-up kitchens. But ghost kitchens, yeah, as a person who does a lot of Uber Eats and caviars, I think it's time to put ghost kitchens away. Ghost kitchens were cute during the pandemic, but I feel like ghost kitchens are a little bit, I'm not really crazy about them like that anymore. I feel like they got to go away. I definitely think there's a bagel obsession. I think there's too many bagel places popping up in Philly. Listen, if they're not coming with that New York swag, I just don't know what's the purpose of them. I don't know. I don't know if Philly needs any more bagels. I don't know if people are begging for bagels, but it just seems like a lot of bagel shops are popping up throughout Philly. And I just don't think, I don't necessarily know if we need any more bagel spots. I feel like we could just stop right there. Yeah, that's my restaurant trends. That is my restaurant trends. On to movies. Movies this year, this was a good year for movies. I'll start with what I don't like first because I want to talk about what I do like in a minute. What I did not like this year with movies, is this the year? Can we finally be done with all of these remakes? Can we finally be done with superhero films? I feel like we're done. I would like us to be done. I don't want any more, collabs, any more remakes. Like not for Star 2, whatever that Dracula remake. It was so boring. I was not here for it. Everybody just want to make remakes of certain films. I don't want any more remakes. I don't want any more action hero movies. I know we're about to have a new Superman, which I'm going to skip. But I think the best of the year was about original movies and creativity. That was the best things of the year. I think all of these remakes and sports superhero films, I think they just got played out. I'm just really over that trend. Um, I'm thinking of Deadpool versus Wolverine, like the worst movie of the year, in my opinion. One of the worst movies of the year. Um, yeah, I was over the remakes. I was over superhero movies this year. And another thing I was also over, yeah, like Sonic the Hedgehog, it was okay. I wasn't crazy about it. Like I just want us to just return to just making original films. Or if we are going to do something, let's make it like really original. Like Mufasa Lion King, I enjoyed because it was an origin story. You know, I appreciated that. But yeah, everything else this year, just all of that was just too much. And also, I cannot leave him out. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry. Like, absolute Tyler Perry. Like, those films, I don't know, these contracts he has with Prime, Netflix, anybody else. I mean, these films have been horrible and like very, very bad this year. Like the May Cooper film that he did with Kelly Rowland, the the triple eight, whatever, that other random abusive movie he did with Megan Good. All of those movies were trash. Like remarkable trash. I would have preferred another Medea film that was corny, campy, and would have been corny, but it would have been somewhat entertaining. They just were god awful. Like all these films were just not that good. People really liked that triple film. I thought it was like very much a Lifetime biopic film. I wasn't crazy about it. I mean, it just was just whatever. But those other films this year, just none of them were good. And I just don't know why he just will not pass the baton. I hope next year or when he wraps up these other films he's making like quick hot pockets, that he really gets serious about investing in other filmmakers. Like give them your studio and let them outshine you. Let them outgrow you. Like you have a studio, put some other filmmakers in there, put some other screenwriters in there and develop them and build them out. I mean, even Oprah did that with Harpo. Like she helped Ava DuVernay get a real strong landing. Hell, she helped so many other creatives. Like even Ava DuVernay with Queen Sugar let other writers and filmmakers come in and do their thing and make that show even better. Like that just what a waste. What a waste. But things that I did love this year. I love that Oscar season has some real competitors. This is one of the most unpredictable Oscar years that we've had in a while. I don't know who's going to get Best Picture. I'm not sold on who's going to get Best Actress. I don't know who's going to win Best Actor. Everybody was so freaking good. The films this year were good. Baby Girl, Honora, The Brutalist, Sing Sing, Wicked. We finally have a Broadway musical adaptation that is an Oscar contender with great fucking performances. Oh my goodness. Everybody did their big one this year. I mean, A Complete Unknown was really good with Timothy Chalamet. The biopics are biopicking. I'm really impressed this year. Like Oscar season was not dry. I feel like the past couple years, you can easily predict who's going to win what. This year, I don't know. The precursors, I don't know. It's still a little shaky. We will not know until the Golden Globes in January. We'll start to see where the tides will turn. But Angelina Jolie is back. Is back. We got the return of, Nicole Kidman, as an Oscar nominated performance. I mean, it's potential. Marianne Jean-Baptiste, Mikey Madison, a new actress that's coming into the Oscar scene. Amelia Perez, Zoe Saldana could potentially win an Oscar. She done finally found a good role, So there's a lot of good, Coleman Domingo. I mean, in Sing Sing, one of the best performances of the year. He might get his second consecutive Best Actor Oscar nomination. You got Daniel Craig. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Everybody's great. Everybody's bringing their A game. The films this year has just been so spectacular. The acting has been really, really good. And so I will say this year, the movies really feel like they're back. Like they're back. Just good variety. Animation was good this year. I mean, The Wild Robot was one of the best animated films. I mean, Inside Out 2 was really good. Animation was really good this year. I just felt like there was a lot of original films, a lot more interesting storylines, a lot more diversity in films. I was really excited. This year, the box office was box officing, and there was just so many great, inventive, fun films. A Real Pain, I got to see that. That was really good, with Kieran Culkin, who might get an Oscar. Like, what are we talking about? Like, everybody just was really good this year. Old Hollywood came back, new Hollywood. It was just a very great year for movies. So I will say that this year I enjoyed the movies to a umpteenth degree, for sure. Now with music, what did I not like? Several things I did not like this year. I did not like the Kendrick Drake beef. I just felt like that was overplayed, overdrawn. I mean, this was a year of beefs. A lot of people was beefing this year. Some was good, some was bad. They Not Like Us. I know people like the song. I get there's a banger. I don't like the subcontext of it. I just really felt like the Drake Kendrick beef just dragged on. I don't like Drake like the next guy, but I'm in this weird phase with Kendrick right now where I get that, like, I feel like now I understand how a lot of my older mentors and people feel about their artists when their artists go mainstream. Like, it's like the best for their career, or it's the peak of a great moment of their career, but it's a signal of something not good. So I had a friend of mine who talking about U2, like they loved U2, and then U2, they said, had that moment where U2 went mainstream, and then the music just went in a different direction. They talk about it with Coldplay. Like, there was a moment where Coldplay went very, very mainstream and global, and then their music sounded very different. Like, they were just talking about certain bands and groups, like when it got to that super commercialism. Kendrick, I feel like, is in that moment where he's becoming the very thing that he did not like Drake for. He's a great rapper. His lyrics are great, but there's a lack of substance that is starting to happen in Kendrick's music. That while the lyricism is there, the creativity and the purpose is kind of being drained out. And is being traded in for mainstreamness. Like, the fact that he's even participating in the Super Bowl, I just feel like it's a little bit of a sellout moment for me, because it's like, you was really the voice around the Kaepernicks, that era. And for you to take this opportunity to do this very pop cultural mainstream thing, I mean, I'm a highbrow dude. I like highbrow Kendrick. I mean, there was a balance. And I just feel like he's just kind of going super, super commercial. And it's just super, super mainstream. Like, you got the super DJ Mustard producer. The songs are I feel like there are songs that's not going to last the test of time. I feel like a lot of these songs he's dropping now, I feel like we're going to listen to it now and like it, and we're not going to care about it in 10 years. I feel like They Like Us was that turning point. And I kind of hate it, because I wish he didn't respond to the haters. I wish he actually did not give the haters this much life and this much energy. In my opinion, I wish he just would have just kept throwing his subliminal shots and not falling and fell for it. But I don't know. I don't like this pivot as much. I know other people disagree, but I kind of feel like we're going to lose Pulitzer Prize winning musician that has something a little different to say. Because now I just feel like, what makes him different from J. Cole except a little bit better in lyricism and delivery? But these like petty gripes, like this GX album he did or whatever, I was like, I don't know. I just wasn't into it this year. I think that was a disappointment. One of the biggest disappointment. Also, another annoyance in music this year, for sure, was Taylor Swift. The Tortured Poets Department was a letdown. It was a total letdown. Too many songs, too much algorithm playing, and I just feel like at this point, Taylor Swift has hit her peak creatively. I'm not going to say industry-wise. I think creatively she's hit her peak. I think she's going to still be around, but I really want her to take a break. I want her to take a break. I want her to take a well-rested vacation. After the Grammys, girl, release Reputation, Taylor's version, and then take a nice break. Because I get it. The tours are selling, the songs are selling, the singles. But this last album, I just felt like was just all of them songs, and yet I only had a couple that I listened to. Most of those songs I really did not listen to. This is the one album by her that it was not in constant replay. In recent years, like I loved Midnights. Folklore could do no wrong in this house. One of her best. Evermore, incredible. You know what's funny is that I came into the podcast falling in love during the pandemic era with Taylor Swift's album Folklore. It was like my everything. And it's so funny that here I am on by the 200th episode, and I'm like over her current stuff. I mean, the Eras tour was a tour to never forget, but she needs a break. I just want her to just like not be in the middle of everything all the time. I think the overexposure is definitely impacting her creativity, and I just feel like a lot of it has become super capitalistic, super commercial, sell, stream, algorithm. I think it's we need a break. We need a break from Taylor Swift, and I think she should, like, because then we get tired of her. And, you know, she thought we was tired of her after the 1989 era. No, I think that we're all exhausted now. And I do sense that, and I sensed it early this year, that when you get to a certain point in your career, you can get so popular that the fans and the public will turn on you because they'll get tired of you. And then if you're not, you know what I'm saying? I think that she's, you know, this is a nice run. I think she should take a break. I don't think she should be done, but live a little bit. Take some time, reflect, you know, just live your life. She's 35. It would be nice to take a little mid break. Come back, you know, in a couple of years. Just let people miss you. You know who does that a lot? And I appreciate that. I think Beyonce definitely do it. She does take her break so much that we be begging her to come back. Bruno Mars takes a break because there was a part where Bruno Mars was getting overexposed. And now Bruno's coming back again. And we're like, okay, we want him a little bit. We miss Bruno. You know, he's gonna make the same music, but we missed his sound, right? Take those breaks. I think The Weeknd is taking a nice little break right now, a little bit. You know, it's okay if The Weeknd came out with some new music right now. It'd be cool. You know, clearly nobody misses Justin Timberlake because it just looks like no one's missing him. He could just go away for sure now. He should just go ahead and retire. Just go out and do greatest hits and do jukebox, do a residency somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, like I just think she needs to take a break. So what did I like this year? What did I like in music this year? Beyonce, Cowboy Carter, love. I love that she's one of those artists, the few artists that we have of our generation that can just consistently reinvent herself and just do something different. And it's always exciting and it's always different. You may, look, I admit, Renaissance, I liked Renaissance more than Cowboy Carter sonically for myself. But you know what? I appreciated what she did for the genre. I appreciate the impact of Cowboy Carter beyond just the music alone. That because Shaboozey, right, who I really love this year, I love Tipsy, a bar song. Shaboozey would have not had the #1 song, okay, of the year, okay, had it not been for him, for Beyonce platforming him first. Giving Shaboozey that exposure opened up a fan base. All these Black country artists that are out, we now know who they are because of Beyonce, right? That they got to get exposure, and we know it. Like, we're gonna give her those props. The moment Beyonce put them on her album, you can see their Spotify subscribers and their listeners. Like Shaboozey was a success story because of that Beyonce moment. Okay, we always call it the Oprah touch. The Oprah effect, the Beyonce effect is still real. And she proved it with this. She tapped into another genre, a lane that people kept trying to tell her was not her lane. And she came in there and she transformed it. That is phenomenal. And she better win album of the year. Okay? She better win album of the year. She got to. She has to. Like, I don't see a universe where she don't. But if she does not win album of the year, I'm going to tell you the album that should win if she doesn't win. Apple, my bop. I love that bop. But Brat by Charlie XCX is a great album. Okay? If Beyonce does not win and Brat wins, I would not be upset. I'd be a little upset because I do think Beyonce deserves it more. But it would not be as heartbreaking. Brat Summer, Brat Fall, Brat Winter. I love the album. The album grew on me. When I hear that song, Apple, it's a bop. When I hear Von Dutch, baby, I had that in replay. Von Dutch had me in a chokehold. That's an energy. That's a vibe, okay? Yeah. Charlie XCX did her big one. I've been a Charlie XCX fan. Me and Jamarcus, we've been a fan of her for a while before she was super mainstream, but this year she did her big one. And the concept, the vibe, she was all over the place. It was a great, she just did it. This was a great year for her. It was a great year for pop girl music. Pop girl music across the board was great. I enjoyed all the pop girls. I love that there was variety in pop music. There was itty bitty music. It was futuristic music. It was cutesy pop music. It was sexy music. It was emo pop. It was all types of pop. The girls did their thing. Okay. Short and Sweet, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Please, please, please. I mean, Sabrina Carpenter was phenomenal. Chapel Roan was great. I mean, as a person, she's interesting. But her music was great. It was a great bounce up. It was a great fun party. It was reflective music. I enjoyed her. Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard, Hit Me Soft. I love Billie Eilish, y'all. I'm a big Billie Eilish fan. That album was a mood album, and it was a great mood album. And she's just, she's just so good. I really love that album. Birds of a Feather, I think it's going to win Song of the Year. It is definitely a Song of the Year. Lyricism, the mood, great song. Espresso is my record of the year. I mean, just great stuff, man. Pop music was really good this year. Like girl pop music. The boys took a back seat, but the women definitely did their big one. And speaking of women doing their big one, women in hip hop this year, we was not starved. I mean, Meg with Hiss, oh my goodness. Hiss was, that was my diss track of the year, to be honest. I loved Hiss. Oh my God, Doechii. I mean, that album, where did that come from? Where did she come from with that? I mean, talk about a pivot in her whole, like, lexicon and creativity of music. Like, Doechii just did her big one. Lotto was great. Lotto's been on a nice little run. Consistency is key. Oh, and how could I forget Glorilla? Glorilla's album was phenomenal. I mean, just the variety and the range. I just love the fact that we're in an era of hip hop for women where there's variety, where there's different women to listen to and enjoy. Cardi B didn't do that many songs, but Enough was hot too. And you know what? I don't care what any of y'all say. Y'all can judge. But my banger of the year is Get It Sexy by Sexy Red. Every party, every time I went out and turned up and turned out, I had a good time, okay? Get It Sexy was like the song that was in my ears every time I would get ready to go party. Just a banger. And one of my favorite concert experiences of the year, of course, Usher, R&B. Let me just start off with the R&B. R&B this year made a comeback too. Okay, shout out to R&B. Okay, Money Long's Revenge album, Usher's Coming Home album was good, but that tour, his tour, best tour of the year. Definitely enjoy some R&B. My husband loves this Leon. Oh my God, he loves this song called Mutt. You can't tell him nothing about it, but this song, I'm a dog, I'm a mutt. He loves that song. Leon Thomas III, he loves this song. If you've heard of it, I encourage you to listen to it. That was a groovy bang. Also, my good friend, Bernard Durand. He's got a Grammy nomination finally, and I cannot wait. His music is really good. His music is great. Summer Walker's doing her big one. She's Summer Walker's making her music again. That song, The Heart of a Woman or whatever, that is a banger. R&B definitely made a good comeback. But yeah, concerts was great. Sarah McLachlan, love to see her. She was great. Seeing Sexy Red at Ruth's Picnic with the Lip Brothers was definitely a top tier highlight. Definitely one for the books. For sure. Definitely a top tier for the books, for sure. Boy, this ass super fat. Bum, bum, bum. Listen, she did her big one. So yeah, women in music this year definitely was the overall highlight. The women did not disappoint. And Black country artists did not disappoint. Shabuzi did not disappoint. The Black country artists, including Beyonce, because Beyonce is country. Okay? Just in case people forgot. She was great. So on to TV. TV was an interesting year. I'll get into what I did not like with TV this year, before I get into what I did love. The Tyler Perry series that y'all wanted me to watch so bad, In the Black, boring, corny, a disappointment, wasn't crazy about it. I don't need any more Ted Lasso. I just feel like a lot of traditional TV shows were a letdown. A lot of traditional TV shows were let down this year. Series that I was into that I'm just not crazy about. I wasn't crazy about too many episodic TV series. And I'm going to get to why I say episodic in the way I do. Ted Lasso, I don't know why they're trying to make a comeback. That was not great. The Bear was a big letdown. The newest season of The Bear, I was not too enthusiastic about it. It did not really grab me like the first 2 seasons. I just feel like it's becoming so formulaic and so predictable. And I just hope that with the season 4, they really change it up a notch. Or I guess they're going to make this the final season or something. Maybe that's going to be it. That's good because I do want to know how it ends. But I just really feel like that was an era, and I feel like that era has passed. I don't know. It just kind of boomed and it kind of went. You know, it was a moment in time, and then it just kind of just went away. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling that many TV series as much. I guess one highlight was Cross. I did enjoy Cross. That was good. But yeah, formulaic episodic TV shows. A lot of shows ended. A lot of new shows that came out just didn't really grab my attention. So yeah, I will say that. But what I did love, shows that I did love, I loved limited series. Limited series, and it was doing their big ones this year. One new episodic show I did like was Matlock but it just came out with the incredible Kathy Bates. That was really good. And it's still going. But when I talk about limited series, Baby Reindeer Baby was doing his big one. Baby Reindeer was incredible. I loved, I know that people are getting over, Ryan Murphy. Ryan Murphy definitely had some hits and some misses this season. But I will say I did like, on FX, I did like Truman and the Capote Swans, Capote and the Swans. I think that's, yeah. Yeah, was it Truman? Yeah, it was Truman Capote and the Swans. That series on FX that was about Feud, the Feud return. The Feud series I've always liked. Betty and Joan, which was between Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. That was the part of that Feud series. He needs to bring the feuds back. Every time he do them, they're good. So I really did like that series. Limited series. Ripley was a good limited series. True Detective was good with Jodie Foster. I did like that one. That was really good. Very great story. But all my limited series were great. Now I did love Abbott Elementary and I did like Hacks. Both of those were the best comedies, but Abbott Elementary is probably the best sitcom on TV right now, period. Consistency, the storylines, the acting has been very, very good. I do like Hacks. That was very good. I do like the new season of Hacks. Was really some really great TV. Drama on TV wasn't that dramatic this year. I mean, The Diplomat was good. Shogun, I'm gonna put Shogun in limited series category. Definitely gonna put that in limited series category. For sure. Reality TV definitely did tank a little bit. I did appreciate certain things. Like, what did I appreciate a lot? I did love Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop definitely did it. You know, this Love and Hip Hop Miami, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. They got to figure out what to do with Kurt and Rashida. They got to figure out their storyline because it's starting to get a little played out because it's getting anticlimactic. It's one of those things where with reality TV on a certain level, they're building up the momentum, but because social media is beating them to the episodes, it's not landing as good as it used to. I remember the good days when reality TV, you would be shocked because you didn't know what was going to happen. I really do believe now that social media is ruining it because you got all these bloggers and people putting out stuff on the internet that now counters a lot of the narratives. And that's also one of my worst of the year too. I forgot it earlier, but the blogosphere, the hip hop blogosphere, the entertainment blogs and stuff, that shit is getting played out. It's ruining everything. It's ruining news, politics, our minds. They're the worst. But they definitely were the worst when it came to TV because a lot of this, like with Kurt and Rashida, I thought that maybe Rashida was going to finally leave Kurt, but then she didn't. And I found out before the show even finished the series. And so it was like, damn, it was a plot twist. And it was like, damn, it didn't land that well. So that was disappointing. Jocelyn Hernandez. Jocelyn's Cabaret Texas. it reminds you, I mean, Zeus is going through identity crisis, but I will say that nothing beats the antics on Josh. I guess what was the season finale of Josh Hernandez, Texas finale, whatever. I thought that it could never go too far, and then it just does, and I will leave it there. It just always takes on another level of extremeness. I was like, what kind of TV is this? Baddies, is my guilty pleasure, but I also do feel like Baddies is starting to plateau a little bit. Like at some point, you got all these girls traveling, fighting each other, and they're supposed to be getting to the bag, but there's been no bag to be gotten or to be had. And that narrative is starting to play out with them, and the storylines with them is starting to really fade. So I am struggling with how I feel about how the baddies are going to evolve in this next cycle of TV. But limited series, I think, overall looks like the future of TV and what I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying the limited series altogether. That's what I'm feeling. I feel like regular episodic TV shows, a lot of them are dragging. We're not waiting enough for a new season. Like Squid Games just dropped a new season. And I remember Squid Games like at the height of the pandemic. But like watching the new Squid Games now, I'm just kind of like, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It just was like, I've been following it along. I just don't know if I have the patience anymore to just follow multiple seasons of a show. I just like limited series because you can just follow a journey. It ends on a certain note and then you can move on to something else. I mean, that's where all the TV movies are at anyway. Good TV movies, all of that. I was really feeling that about TV this year, limited series. That's where I'm at right now. The White Lotus, I love the anthology of it all. I can appreciate that because it's going to keep on. Natasha Rothwell is coming back. So I'm looking forward to her. But yeah, I'm into limited series. Like Ripley was good. That was really fun. But yeah, limited series is where it's at. That's where the energy is at. Give me some more baby reindeers or give me some other specials and things of that nature. So that was that. So in concluding this very special 200th episode of Reviews, my life and where I'm headed and what my journey is. This year has been a great year. I really love 2024. It was a really big comeback year. 2023 was heavy. A lot was going on in 2023, good and bad. But 2024 was really a recharge year, a repurpose year, a reset year. Just learning the lessons of what 2023 had came in and really getting things back on track on so many levels with certain relationships, friendships, what's next for me as far as my vision for my brand and my career and everything I have going on. This was a year of pivots and changes for good. Opportunities for me to learn out my lessons and apply them. It was just a year of me being able to really enforce boundaries and really stick to my guns about certain things. Like, I think everything I learned for the past several years, and those who've been following me throughout these seasons, throughout these years of this show, it's been a journey of just figuring out, how to, stand convicted. And I feel like I'm in a place now where I know who's here for me. I know who I'm for. I don't know who I'm not for. I'm not in the business trying to get everybody to like me. And I'm not in the business of actually trying to play alone to get along. I've played that role. And I thought that worked. I'm in a space now where rather than go somewhere to be pissed off, I just trust my gut and say, you know what, that's going to piss me off. I don't even need to go. Rather than wonder why somebody doesn't invite or doesn't consider me or whatever the case might be, I just recognize it isn't what it is and there's a reason for it. I recognize that in some situations, rejection is protection, that things that I think is for me or I think I want or what I get, sometimes the universe is telling me in so many ways, you can't see it, but I can see it for you, and it ain't what you want. And also doing the things that is in your lane, picking your lane, advancing in your lane, sticking to the stuff that makes you feel good without explanation. And so this has been a year of just really making my own pivots, making my own changes, adjusting to the changing environments, things that are outside of my control. The media landscape is evolving, and I've always been in a position, I feel like this year, all the lessons that I learned about pivoting and changing and shifting, this was the year where that really came into impact and effect, because I've seen so many people who are less fortunate than me make changes or had to be forced to pivot without embracing it because they just thought they were going to be somewhere for another 20, 30, 45,000 years. This upcoming January will mark 9 years I've been a writer and a contributor and been with the Philadelphia Magazine Company. That is probably the longest consistent contract I've had my entire career. 9 years, nearly a decade, that I've been writing, working, collaborating, doing something with Philadelphia Magazine. That is the longest contract I've had with a media partner ever. But the beautiful thing is being able to work with the things that work with you, having the relationships that serve you, and letting go of relationships that don't. Friendships, connections, networks, affiliations that don't. Who would ever thought that when I first started this podcast, I was talking about NABJ and all the things that came with it. And then look how that transpired and look where I'm at today. It's almost like out of sight, out of mind. And look how some of that stuff played out this year with them. Karma's real. And I've been in a space, and I stick to this mantra, that the trash will always take itself out. That there's always two things can be true at the same time. To hold nuance, to recognize the complexity of things, but to also recognize who you are. And who you are today isn't necessarily the person you were years ago. That there might be people that have a certain version of you that they've held on to, and they don't want to see you grow or evolve in different ways. And sometimes you're going to have to let those people go, no matter how long they've been around. I've realized that I don't want to be a victim of seniority, where the only reason why I'm in a relationship or a friendship or connection with certain people is because of the fact that we've been knowing each other for a long time. Seniority does have its perks, but it shouldn't be the only obligation to a relationship. And so this year I made some points to really put a fine, comb on certain friendships that I have for several years, or certain connections and networks that weren't serving. As I've evolved in what I'm doing, I recognize that some people are not flexible enough to be a part of that journey. Some people aren't. Some people you can't take with you. And it doesn't always have to end in war and fire and violence and arguments. Sometimes it can just be subtle. And so I was quietly quitting some people, if that's what they call it. I wasn't ghosting. But they used to say the term quiet quitting. I was quiet quitting some situations, some networks, some connections. And it wasn't necessarily I need to declare and say, oh my goodness, this is why. It just was a situation where I just said, you know what? If they don't notice and don't come and ask, then maybe the feelings were mutual. But that's what I've learned. That's what I've learned this year. And then as I get into the new year, everything about the new year is exciting because I'm opening up new avenues and new lanes to explore and expand. And that's exciting, that I just am at a place where I do feel this level of freeness. I don't feel like I have to commit to anything that I haven't. Everything's kind of coming new opportunities. I'm looking forward, like I said before, to this CCP fellowship, like to be able to be a lecturing fellow, to have that visit, like to have that stature at a college, at a space like that of higher education is something that I've been passionate about. As I've over the years have began to explore my passion for higher education and show up in a different way, this was that opportunity. So I'm very grateful for that. New opportunities and some familiar. So I'm going to the Grammys. No surprise to some people there, but I'm going to the Grammys. It's going to be late January. I'm going to be there for like a whole week. So stay tuned for all my surprises I have coming up. But I will be going to the Grammys. I'll be rooting Cowboy Carter. I'll be wearing all this cool red carpet fashion. I pretty much have all of my outfits picked out. Like everything that I'm wearing, all of my wardrobe is pretty much set. All of my fits are set. I can fit all of my clothes. Thank goodness. I'm being a little bit daring with some of my looks. There's going to be lots. You're going to see some skin. You're going to see some color. You're going to see some seasonal. You're going to see some nice shoes. You're going to see some Telfar bags. I got the new glitter bag on deck, But you're going to see some fun looks. And who knows who I'm going to see. Every time I go, I see somebody iconic. And so I'm excited to go. I'm going to be with my bestie, one of my besties, John Pierre. We're going to hit the Hollywood Strip. It's going to be a year of impact. So looking forward to the Grammys again. 3 times a charm. Rooting for Cowboy Carter. We'll see what happens. But if she does not win, Brat better win by Charlie XCX. And Taylor Swift better not win because that album, we're not even going to get into it. That should also been in my list of disappointing albums. That album was just the oversaturation of Taylor Swift this year was definitely one of the worst. Love her music, but that album and her overexposure was just too much for me. And celebrity culture, yeah, no. But y'all be at the Grammys, so I'm looking forward to that. B2 Book 2 finishing touches next year, 2025. You will know the book. I will reveal the book very, very soon. But 2025, you will know the book. You will know the information. You will know. I took some time to really savor the 2-year anniversary of the Case for Cancel Culture is going to be this upcoming February. I really wanted to take out the time to really enjoy that journey, that tour, that experience. And I wanted to, have that full ride. Everybody was like, okay, when's the book coming? The next book? It's like, wait, let me savor this in. Nothing, being a first time debut author with a book of that caliber, with that experience, that was just a thrill ride. And now that I'm beginning to wrap up that era, it's time for a new era. It's time for something new. We're in a new Trump era. We need a book that speaks to the moment we're currently in. We need a book that is for the people. And this upcoming book is the new book. It's the response. It's what we've learned. It's everything. And I cannot wait to share the details and the title and everything. And when the book comes, when you find out what it's about, and when I start getting into it, and when I start getting it, when all that, you'll be like, you know what? This is the book I was meant to write. I felt that way about the Case for Cancel Culture, but this upcoming book, this was the book I was meant to write. This was the book that it carries experiences from my college years. It takes on personal experiences I've grown up with. It combines all of these different experiences in my life, but also politics in a way that I've been wanting to talk about more aggressively. This is just the book I was meant to write, and no one else can write this book but me. No one else can write this book but me. No one could write it like I'm writing it. That's how I feel about the Case for Cancel Culture. But this book just takes it to another level. So enough teasing you all. But 2025 will be the year you'll know about this book. We'll know about it. We'll know it, and I can finally reveal it. And I cannot wait. Which brings me to another aspect about my book and my surprise I'm ready to announce. So this, when I did the Case for Cancel Culture, there was always a talk about, will I go international? Should the book tour be international? Should there be opportunity for me to cross the pond? And I am proud to announce the answer is yes. I will be in England. Yes, we're going to be in the UK. I will be doing a special trip to the UK to promote and to really celebrate the book, The Case for Cancel Culture. During its 2-year anniversary, the week of its 2-year anniversary, I will be in Oxford. I was invited by the Oxford Union, which is a prestigious discourse society, a public speaking society, or international. They bring speakers from around the world to participate in very timely debates and lectures and conversations on very timely topics. I mean, everybody's been there. I mean, presidents, prime ministers, global figures, pop culture icons. Everyone has been, the Oxford Union is no joke. You can Google them. They are world renowned. They're internationally renowned. They are a big fucking deal. They reached out to my agent a couple of weeks ago and had heard about my book, The Case for Cancel Culture, and invited me to participate in a Oxford Union debate, which is very prestigious. This will be in late February, around the 2nd anniversary of my book. And when I tell you the level of enthusiasm, excitement, first of all, a lot of you all, UK listeners, you all have been wanting me to come to England for quite some time. The United Kingdom, Buckingham, y'all have been wanting me to come. I've been talking about this for a long time, about how I've had a big, huge European following, a big London following, a big England. The British love me. And I used to always joke, even recently, y'all, like it was crazy how this happened. was that a couple of weeks ago. I remember I made the joke. Yeah, I was like, you gotta go to Piers Morgan. We're gonna come. I said, listen, I'm gonna go if I go abroad. I haven't been abroad since 2014. It has been 10 years since I've been abroad, y'all. The last time I was abroad, I was in Ghana. I said it. I said, I will go if there's a reason. I only do big business abroad. Okay? I've never had a reason to go. I said, if I got a reason, I said, England, I feel like London's calling. And I was saying it before I even knew y'all. This literally happened a couple of weeks ago. I was like, if London's calling, they want me, they'll find a way. And they found a way. So I will be there. The plan is, hopefully, I'll get a chance to go to London, see Piers Morgan. I want to see Piers Morgan. I want to tape. I want to do a live taping of Piers Morgan Uncensored in London because, you know, he loves the mess. He loves the drama. Would love to go down to the UK and do a show with him, do a taping with him, and then get my ass over to Oxford to participate in the debates. And there's going to be a big old reception, a big old to-do over there in Oxford. We're going to be near Oxford University. I'm staying in a very, very nice hotel over there. And it's going to be a good old time. And so we're going to be international, y'all. International. This is crazy. I am super excited. Like I cannot believe to tell you, like my flight is booked, my hotel's booked, everything's being scheduled, everything's arranged. More details will be coming very, 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 very soon. But I am just super excited to share this exciting news with you all. And what a thrill. 200 episodes later, I found myself abroad. I found myself, in London. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a thrill ride for sure. And much to come in 2025. But what a very exciting way to kick off the new year in this very exciting way. We catching flights in 2025. We're going international. We're going to LA. We're going to red carpets at the Grammys in January. February, we're going to London. We're just doing it all, in a big way. So I'm looking forward to all the surprises and opportunities that's coming in 2025. I wish all of you all a very happy new year. I hope everybody's taking care of themselves, resting, enjoying it, getting ready for the new year, doing new skincare regimens, staying optimistic in spite of what's going to come politically in 2025. But, I have some New Year's predictions. I think that there is going to be more opposition than we expect with this Trump administration. I think that the people are going to be holding the establishment accountable across the board, not just, Republicans, but Democrats. I think a lot of things are going to happen locally in Philadelphia that is going to be, Mayor Cheryl Parker would have completed 1 full year of her term. Now the gloves are off. People can now be able to start to say, okay, because I told you all that this year I was just trying to watch it out, weigh it out. I didn't want to be too hard on the first woman mayor, the first Black woman to be mayor of Philadelphia. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to weigh out. But the upcoming year, it's time to have some real conversation about accountability. And you could expect more of that from me, very, very soon. City Council Live is returning on, City Council comes back in session January 23rd on the Thursday. That's coming off the heels of the Trump inauguration. This podcast will be returning on Monday, January 13th. So 2 weeks away from now. But it's been such a joy this season, lucky number 7. It's been so many exciting opportunities. Actually, I'm avoiding slipping. Before this podcast, I'm going to New York before the podcast premiere because Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated is about to inaugurate its 37th president, which is the incredible Lucian Metellus, who's going to be the next general president of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And I'm super pleased to announce that I will be, I'm one of his handpicked people that's going to be serving on his administration. I'll be, helping to further advance the fraternity of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I have a really great relationship with this incoming president. I got to meet him in Chicago during the constitutional convention, and ever since then have followed in his lead. He's a great leader. He's about to be no longer general president-elect, but he's going to be brother president of the fraternity, and to be able to serve on his administration and to be able to, do this on a national level for the fraternity is a true blessing and honor. So I look forward to that great work. I'll be in New York for the 9th, I believe that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm leaving Sunday of the second weekend of January. Yeah. I'll be coming back from that inauguration, celebrations, festivities, lots of parties, lots of celebrating, lots of drinking, lots of buzz, lots of good times, and it's going to be great. So yeah, I'm coming into a new year of new opportunities, opportunities to lead, opportunities to grow, opportunities to glow. And that's what it's about. And I just really hope everybody's doing that in their own way. Whether big or small, there's no victory not worth celebrating and cherishing. And I wish that all of you all are in good spirits and are really taking this time to rest and reset and progress. And, look forward to seeing you all on the other side. 200 episodes. Here's to the next 100 and 200 to beyond. And as we always end every great show, and as always, be well and be best.
Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.